cultivation world, I begin by getting struck by lightning. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 851. Have these people also read Journey to the West? Su Fan walked out of the teleportation hall of Lingtai Xianchen. After more than a month of tossing and turning, he returned here again. He came to Liu Xianzhou in the city and walked into the lobby of the inn. At this time, there were not many people in the lobby of the inn, only a shop assistant, the one who sent him to the teleportation hall last time. When the other party saw Su Fan, his eyes suddenly lit up and he hurriedly stepped forward to greet him. "Welcome to our store." Su Fan nodded at him. He always felt that the other party's attitude was much warmer than before. At this time, the shopkeeper standing behind the counter actually came out from behind the counter and bowed to him. "Devours, are you still staying in the same room as before?" Su Fan frowned. Last time, this guy was not so enthusiastic and always ignored him. "Well, let's stay in the same room as last time." The shopkeeper smiled and nodded, then personally led him to the guest room and opened the door for him. "Whatever you need, just say it," the innkeeper said, bowed to him, and then turned and left. Su Fan looked at his back and shook his head, then walked into the guest room and sat cross-legged on the couch. As soon as he sat down, the waiter of the inn knocked on the door and came in, presenting a box of spiritual tea with both hands. "This is the spiritual tea that our innkeeper has collected. Let me give it to the senior to taste." Su Fan glanced at him, then took the spiritual tea. "Thank your innkeeper for me." After the innkeeper left, he opened the tea box and smelled it, and his eyes lit up immediately. "This tea is not bad. But what happened today? Why did the innkeeper and the waiter become so attentive?" Just when he was confused, the jade talisman of Huangquan Tower on his waist vibrated slightly. Su Fan took off the jade talisman from his waist, then input a trace of spiritual energy, and stimulated a transparent light curtain. He looked at the few words that appeared on it, and his face was suddenly confused. When Huangquan Tower is doing business, people who are not in the know should stay away. Actually, he had never worked in this line of work, and he didn't know what to say, so he remembered a line from a movie in his previous life. Now even Zhu Ming knows about it, which means that this line must have spread. Su Fan covered his face, and this line now looked really stupid. "Devours, you are really born to be a bounty hunter. Do you know that this line you said has spread all over the entire Burial Monster Mountain range? This is fucking. I didn't expect that a line I said casually would spread like this." Su Fan finally understood why the shopkeeper and the waiter were so enthusiastic about him when he returned to the Liu Xianzhou inn. "That was just what I said casually. Do you think it's necessary? Why not? You know that this line of yours has made our Huangquan Tower famous in the Burial Monster Mountain range. I really don't want to be famous." Su Fan didn't know that since he killed an evil old demon in the transformation realm and completely destroyed the Black Wind village, those monks who survived by chance spread this matter. Especially the words he said, which spread throughout the entire Demon Mountain range in a blink of an eye. After hearing the news, the high-ranking old monsters of several large scattered cultivation organizations in the Demon Mountain range actually jointly protested to the top leaders of the Huangquan Tower. Not only these scattered cultivation organizations, but all the organizations, big and small, in the Demon Mountain range, no matter what grievances they had in the past, stood together this time with a common hatred of the enemy. A killer hidden in an underground organization would actually say such a rampant sentence, which is a slap in the face of the forces in the Demon Mountain range. Although the scattered cultivation organizations in the Demon Mountain range also hate those bandit cultivators and evil cultivators. But this time, they rarely stood together with those bandit cultivators and evil cultivators in the destruction of the Black Wind village, and jointly denounced the evil deeds of the Huangquan Tower. After all, killer organizations like the Huangquan Tower take on the business of buying lives for money. If the killers of the Huangquan Tower secretly come to kill people, it's nothing. But if they come to kill people with such fanfare and unreasonableness, then what power will the various forces in the Demon Mountains have in the future? Although the various forces in the Demon Mountains are excited, that is the business of the top leaders of the Yellow Springs building. For the many killers and bounty hunters in the Yellow Springs building, Su Fan's words are too domineering. Today's Yellow Springs building is declining year by year, and there has been no such uplifting thing for a long time. I forgot to congratulate you. Now you are official bounty hunter of the Yellow Springs building. You will be one of us in the future. Congratulations, Dem. It's like I'm willing to join you. If there's any way, he will not get on this pirate ship. After all the fuss, the previous 10 years were my probation period. You can also say that everyone is here for real. By the way, you can give us a nickname. We in the Yellow Springs building usually use our own nicknames. The broken place is not very good, but there are still many things to do. He had to give himself a nickname. What kind of name should he come up with in such a short time? Then let's call him Tesu. This nickname has already been given. Change it. Heavenly King. Change it. Earth Tiger. This one has also been given. Blood Demon. No, I have one too. Your mother Criticide. It's so hard to come up with a name. Then Su Pham thought of more than a dozen nicknames, but they were all rejected without exception. Damn you, I'm not playing anymore. What made him most angry was that it was normal for names like Hundun, Kai Unki, Tao Wu, and Tao Tai to be registered by others. But who can tell him why there are duplicates of names from previous lives such as Wukong, Baji, Senzang, Xing Zhe, Jin Jiao, Red Boy, etc.? Did these people also read Journey to the West? In the end, Su Pham didn't think about it anymore, and he casually said a name that was actually approved. Evil Bone. This is fine, you can use it. What the hell? What a crappy name, it's really ugly. But now that things have come to this, Su Pham doesn't want to rack his brains to think about it anymore, so just use this name. By the way, there is another mission here in the Tibetan Medicine Mountain Range. You might as well take it. After you complete the mission, you can stay here comfortably for 20 years and then take another mission. After hearing what Zhu Ming said, Su Pham was immediately tempted. But he had to ask first. He didn't want to kill another innocent person in order to complete the mission. Can I take a look at the information of this mission target first? Sure, I'll send it to you right away. After a while, various information about the mission target and tasks appeared on the transparent light curtain in front of Su Pham. Su Pham looked at it for a while and said, okay, I'll take this mission. Chapter 852 Anyway, there's Huinquan Tower to take the blame for him. Huinquan Tower is also aimed at the Barad Demon Mountains. The target of this bounty is Wei Fu, who is a brutal bandit cultivator with a long history and an initial stage of the spiritualization realm. Wei Fu was born in a group called Fushan Bandits and is also the second person in this organization. It is said that his name is on the bounty list of many super large and high-level families in the entire Lujiao Star region. He is a man of many evil deeds. It has been more than 30 years since the Huinquan Tower took over Wei Fu's business, but he still has not succeeded in killing this guy. Unlike the loner evil cultivator Yuan Bin, Wei Fu, as the second person in the Fushan Bandits, is very difficult to assassinate. If you want to assassinate Wei Fu, you have to face the entire Fushan Bandits bandit organization. The Fushan Bandits is definitely notorious in the Lujiao Star region. There are nearly 100 backbone personnel in the organization, and the number one person in the organization is Du Kang, who has reached the realm of half-step refining. The reason why this notorious gangster group is still at large is that there is a powerful underground force behind it. Therefore, the high-ranking monsters of the super clans and families in the Lujiao Star region dare not easily attack the Fushan Bandits. As a killer organization, if an assassination mission cannot be completed for many years, it will have a great impact on the reputation of this killer organization. In order to complete this mission, the Huinquan Tower also sent a lot of elite killers and bounty hunters, but in the end they all returned empty-handed, and even lost a lot of elites. Because the target of this mission is a cultivator in the God Transformation realm, when Su Pham selected the mission, Wei Fu was not on the mission catalog. The reason why Su Pham took on this mission was mainly because the Fushan Bandits had their lair in the Burial Demon Mountain Range. He just wanted to do it because it was close to the distance. As for the Fushan Bandits, it was just a gangster organization, and Su Pham didn't care at all. If it were someone else, they might have this and that kind of concerns, but for him, it was nothing. Su Pham had seen all kinds of scenes. In his eyes, the Fushan Bandits were nothing more than a bunch of chickens and dogs. Anyway, the Huinquan Tower would take the blame for him. Now he was an organized person, no longer a lone wolf. After a while, Zhu Ming passed Wei Fu's information and intelligence to him. According to the intelligence of the Huinquan Tower, the Fushan Bandits where Wei Fu was located, their lair was located in the Broken Blade Canyon in the north of the Barad Monster Mountains. The Broken Blade Canyon is a famous dangerous place in the Barad Monster Mountains. The canyon is thousands of miles long and can reach tens of miles at its widest point. Legend has it that it was a sword mark left by a sword cultivator of the human race when he fought with a powerful demon. The entire canyon is unfathomable, with large and small space cracks all over it, and you will be swallowed up if you are not careful. Because the space of the Broken Blade Canyon is extremely fragile, the cultivators of the refining void realm cannot enter it. So many years ago this place was the hiding place of many bandit cultivators and evil cultivators. Moreover, the environment in the canyon is extremely complex. The cliffs are covered with various grottos and stone forts, which are all dug out by the bandits and evil cultivators hiding here. Therefore, the personnel in the canyon are very complicated. In addition to the bandits and evil cultivators who gather here all year round, even many disciples of the Immortal Sect and the Demon Sect often appear here. Now Broken Blade Canyon has become the largest place for selling stolen goods in the entire Ocean, attracting countless cultivators every year. In such a complex environment, it is like looking for a needle in a haystack to find the lair of the Fushin bandits. Although the intelligence system of Huanquan Tower has also deployed a lot of forces in Broken Blade Canyon, the exact location of the lair of the Fushin bandits has not been found so far. There have been some intelligence reports that the lair of the Fushin bandits is in a portable secret realm, which is carried by the personnel in the organization. But Su Fan disagreed with this information. He has been hunted for many years and knows that the portable secret realm cannot control his own aura and breath. Even if he hides in the portable secret realm for many years, he can't escape the divination of the high-level divination cultivators. Once someone tracks your exact location, it will be even more dangerous to be in the portable secret realm. If someone gets your secret realm jade key, you will be caught in a trap, and you can't escape even if you want to. So Su Fan guessed that the lair of the Fushin bandits would definitely not be in the portable secret realm. If someone tracks the exact location of a member of the organization, all members of the Fushin bandits will be wiped out. Su Fan sat cross-legged in the guest room, looking solemnly at the various information about Wei Fu on the transparent light screen in front of him. Are you worried about this guy? At this time, the evil Buddha Wangda in the oil lamp magic weapon placed next to him asked him a question. This guy is not simple, you can't act recklessly like the last one. Su Fan was not afraid of the Fushin bandits. What he was most worried about now was the Broken Blade Canyon where the bandits' lair was located. He had been to chaotic places like Broken Blade Canyon many times before, and the people inside were all complicated. The intelligence system of Huanquan Tower is so powerful, but after so many years, they still haven't found the lair of Fushin bandits. How could he, who just arrived, find Wei Fu's location in a short time? Su Fan doesn't even know the exact location of the bounty target now, so how can he complete this task? Why bother so much? Just go over and see, the evil Buddha Wangda said here, thought for a while and said, I have a feeling that the intelligence personnel of Huanquan Tower and Broken Blade Canyon must have problems. Hearing the words of the evil Buddha Wangda, Su Fan couldn't help but be stunned. This old guy was also an evil demon who was hated by everyone. Whether in experience or knowledge, he is much better than him. Of course, Su Fan will take the evil Buddha Wangda's opinion seriously. According to what you said, we will go to Broken Blade Canyon for this mission and will not contact the intelligence personnel of Huanquan Tower there. In a chaotic place like Broken Blade Canyon, the relationship between various forces is complicated. If the intelligence personnel of Huanquan Tower stayed there for a long time, who knows what will happen now. It must be said that what the old guy Wangda said does make sense. After all, Broken Blade Canyon is the largest place for Wu Ocean to sell stolen goods, and the various interests involved every year are too great. If anyone can participate in it, it will be a huge fortune. Thinking of this, Su Fan has made a decision in his heart. This time he went to Broken Blade Canyon and temporarily did not contact the intelligence system of Huanquan Tower. He would take a look after he got there. Chapter 853 Broken Blade Canyon, 9 Bend Cave. In the early morning, a brilliant light emerged from the distant sky, revealing a large area of white, and the whole earth was awakened from its slumber. The pale golden mist enveloped the green mountains, and the spiritual energy was dense, as if it were a fairyland. Su Fan drove the ghost crow for more than 10 days without sleep, and finally flew to the airspace near the Broken Blade Canyon. This time he did not use the resources of the Huanquan Tower, but came alone according to the map. What the evil Buddha Wangda said made sense. The intelligence system of the Awakens Tower has invested a lot of power in the Broken Blade Canyon. How could it be impossible to find Wei Fu's trace after so many years? There may be some unknown tricks here. Su Fan found a flat place to land, and then walked to the edge of the cliff, overlooking this breathtaking canyon. The whole canyon is like a fault zone that was torn apart, with continuous and towering mountains on both sides. Looking around, there are endless peaks and lush forests. The cliffs on both sides of the canyon are steep, and the smooth cliffs are like a knife cut out, extending all the way to the unfathomable valley bottom, and below is thick fog rolling endlessly. The cliffs are overgrown with weeds, and the ubiquitous moss rocks, broad-leaved shrubs and climbing vines drill out from the cracks of the smooth rocks and spread wantly around. Su Fan looked up and could vaguely see the other side of the canyon dozens of miles away through the misty clouds. He took a jade talisman from his waist, then input a trace of spiritual energy, stimulated a transparent light curtain, and then input a message. "I'm here." As soon as his message was sent out, a line of handwriting appeared on the light curtain. "Wait there for a while, the person who will pick you up will be here soon." Su Fan did not contact the people in the Awakens Tower intelligence system, but used the resources of his Ruai Pavilion. Although Ruai Pavilion requires a lot of spiritual crystals, it is at least reliable. There was no other way. To enter the Broken Blade Canyon, someone had to guarantee it. Apart from the Ruai Pavilion, he had no other resources. Even if ordinary people forced their way into the canyon, they would not be able to find the entrances of various forces, and they would be attacked inexplicably. After about a quarter of an hour, a miniature flying boat came from a distance and stopped above where Su Fan was. After the hatch of the flying boat opened, a giant and realm cultivator landed next to Su Fan and bowed to him. "Senior, please board the boat." Su Fan nodded, then jumped up and boarded the flying boat. The other party then came up and took out a jade slip and handed it to Su Fan. "Senior, this is your new identity and the information of the Nine Bends Cave." After the other party finished speaking, he entered the control room and drove the flying boat away. Su Fan took the jade slip, then walked into a cabin, then sat cross-legged on the couch, and placed the jade slip on his forehead. After a while, he put down the jade slip and crushed it. The Nine Bend Cave that Su Fan went to this time is one of the 4 largest places for selling stolen goods in the entire Broken Blade Canyon. This is also the intelligence system of the Yellow Spring Tower, which arranged a meeting place for him. The flying boat landed after about an hour of sailing. He stood up from the couch, pushed the door and walked out of the cabin. The giant and monk was already waiting at the cabin door, and then presented a jade talisman with both hands. "Senior, this is your identity jade talisman in the Nine Bend Cave." Su Fan took the jade talisman, nodded to the other party, and walked out of the cabin door. Although he and the other party had almost no communication, and there was not even a window in the cabin, so he could not see the scenery outside, Su Fan was very relieved. After several cooperations, he had already trusted the Ruai Pavilion very much. He got off the flying boat and saw a huge cave outside, which was obviously carved out of the cliff. Su Fan looked outside the cave and saw that the cave was covered by a layer of fog, indicating that there should be a hidden illusion array outside. This cave is in the shape of a long strip of hundreds of feet, and dozens of feet wide. The top is more than 10 feet above the ground, and it is full of various miniature flying boats. Moreover, flying boats keep flying in from outside and landing in the cave. There are usually a dozen people coming down from the flying boats, and occasionally there are people like Su Fan who are alone. Su Fan followed the flow of people to the edge of the cave and walked along a passage to a cave inside. There were teleportation arrays in the cave. Su Fan showed his identity jade talisman and followed everyone to board the teleportation array. With a flash of dazzling light, Su Fan and others disappeared in the array. When he opened his eyes again, he had appeared in a square, and then a huge noise came to his face. Su Fan looked around and found that this was actually an extremely huge cave. He raised his head and saw that the top of the cave was covered with dazzling light spots, illuminating the cave like daylight. The scale of the 9-curved cave is very large, and the area is almost the same as that of an ordinary fairy city outside. There are many streets in the cave, with shops on both sides, and pedestrians on the street are shoulder to shoulder. Walking on the street in the cave, Su Fan's ears are filled with all kinds of noisy sounds, and he has the illusion of being in a fairy city. However, most of the pedestrians on the street have fierce faces, and they are not good people at first glance. He came to an inn called Songtaoju, which is the meeting point arranged for him by Huang Lao. Su Fan did not stay here, but walked over calmly and found an inn not far away on the opposite side of the street to settle down. He came to the guest room under the guidance of the innkeeper, and then sat cross-legged on the floor couch. At this time, the jade talisman of Ruai Pavilion on his waist vibrated slightly. Su Fan took off the jade talisman, input a trace of spiritual energy, and stimulated a transparent light curtain, and a line of handwriting appeared on it. Senior, I am helping you collect information about the Fushan bandits. I have already obtained some information. Should I send it to you now? Send it. After a while, Kinyu from Ruai Pavilion sent the information over. Looking at the information on the transparent light screen in front of him, Su Fan compared the information provided by Huang Tower and frowned. Compared with the various information about the Fushan bandits provided by Ruai Pavilion, the information of Huang Tower was obviously not detailed enough. Su Fan took a deep breath. It seemed that, as the evil Buddha Wangda said, there should be something wrong with the intelligence system of Huang Tower and Broken Blade Canyon. Now he can only wait for the various information provided by Ruai Pavilion in the future. In a chaotic place like Broken Blade Canyon, it is simply impossible to move forward without information. Chapter 854. This is the business they do. Ruai Pavilion had not been transmitted yet. Since there was nothing to do, Su Fan left the inn and strolled in Jiuku Cave. He walked around the street for a while, and he only had one feeling, that is, the cost of living was extremely expensive. In fact, it was normal. The cultivators who came to places like Jiuku Cave were all extremely wealthy people, and no one lacked a few melons and dates. However, walking into any store here will definitely open your eyes. Jiuku Cave is worthy of being the largest place for selling stolen goods in the entire Huaoshan. There is nothing you can't buy here, and the price will definitely surprise you. Even some top-quality cultivation materials that are difficult to see outside can be found in any store in Jiuku Cave. Even if the store doesn't have it, as long as you ask the store owner, the other party can help you find it. Compared with the high cost of living, this convenience is not a big deal. And it is said that the cultivation materials that can be found in street shops are all things that are not presentable in Jiuku Cave. If you want to get better rare materials, you have to go to several large auctions. It is said that in the several auction houses of Jiuku Cave, any item is a rare fine product that is hard to find outside, and it is not an exaggeration to describe it as rare. There are also several large scattered stalls here. Although there are fakes and forgeries in them, the chance of picking up a bargain is still quite high. Because the things that can be obtained from Jiuku Cave are all stolen goods from those daring bandits and evil cultivators. Except for those fine products sent to shops and auction houses, the rest will appear in these scattered stalls. Not only that, after years of development, Jiuku Cave has a very good reputation. The monks don't have to worry about anyone looking for the stolen goods they bought from the several auction houses of Jiuku Cave. It's like washing them here. Of course, the premise is that you have to have money. To be honest, even Su Fan wants to see it. Anyway, he doesn't lack that little money. Su Fan walked around the street for a whole day. Although the things here are good, there are few top-quality resources that can catch his eye. If he wants to find something he likes, it seems that he can only go to a few auctions to have a look. In the evening, Su Fan returned to the inn opposite to Song Taoju. He walked into the guest room, and just as he was sitting cross-legged on the couch, the jade talisman of Ruai Pavilion on his waist began to vibrate slightly. Su Fan took off the jade talisman on his waist, input a trace of spiritual energy, and stimulated a transparent light curtain, and then he saw a message from Kinyu. Devours, the information about the Fushan bandits is still being collected for you, and it will be sent to you tomorrow. Seeing the other party's message, Su Fan frowned immediately. Kinyu's messages usually don't have so much nonsense. He should have something else. If you have something to talk to me about, tell me. The thing is, didn't you just kill that evil cultivator Kinyu? He has committed many bloody crimes in the past, and has also been on the bounty list of some super large clans and families. If you don't mind, our Ruai Pavilion will help you communicate with them and help you collect these rewards. Su Fan was excited when he heard it. There's such a good thing. But he calmed down immediately. He was worried that this would expose his identity. If I take their reward, will my identity be exposed? Don't worry, fellow Taoist, we will communicate with Huang Tower. You don't need to participate at all, and your identity will not be exposed. Seeing Kinyu say this, Su Fan was relieved. It must be said that Ruai Pavilion is still quite reliable. If this matter is handled in the name of awakens Tower, there will be no problem. As for how much profit Ruai Pavilion can get from handling this matter, he doesn't care at all. This is the business they do, and this is the money they make. Only places like Ruai Pavilion can help to handle such things. If Su Fan does this, it is not certain whether he can get the money. Okay, then I will leave this matter to you, Ruai Pavilion, and the rewards I deserve will be stored with you. The service of Ruai Pavilion is really awesome, and it can definitely meet your needs. Su Fan is a little addicted to it now. Don't worry, I will take care of this matter myself, and I will definitely help you get it done properly. Su Fan was about to cut off the contact, but suddenly remembered something, so he sent another message. How many sects and families have issued a bounty on the evil cultivator Yuan Bin? In fact, he was just curious, and he didn't expect to get much reward. Anyway, he didn't care about the small amount. I haven't counted it specifically, it should be close to 100, what the hell. Su Fan never thought that Yuan Bin would offend so many super sects and families, and he was really a ruthless person. Originally thought it was just a small amount, who would have thought it would be a huge fortune. This can also be possible in the future. Yuan Bin, the evil old demon who fought alone, has committed so many sins, and Wei Fu, the second in command of the Fushun bandits, will definitely offend more people. Thinking of this, Su Fan suddenly became energetic, as if he saw a smooth road to wealth. Anyway, he killed all the evil cultivators and evil cultivators who had committed many crimes, so he had no psychological burden at all. It seems that joining the awakens Tower is not a bad thing, just treat it as eliminating harm for the people. Devours, in fact, our Ruai Pavilion also has a lot of business, you can also consider it in your spare time. Seeing the message sent by Qin Yu, Su Fan smiled. Does this guy know what he is thinking? Your Ruai Pavilion also accepts the business of killing people to buy lives. Devours, you think too much? We Ruai Pavilion don't accept that kind of business. Seeing Qin Yu's reply, Su Fan also had a little curiosity. Then what kind of business do you Ruai Pavilion accept? I want to hear. Devours, Ruai Pavilion just happens to have a business to escort the younger generation of one of our gold medal customers to leave the Jiuqu cave safely. I wonder if you are interested, the commission will definitely satisfy you. Seeing Qin Yu's message, Su Fan also roughly understood the business scope of Ruai Pavilion. However, he has no interest in such business. It is too troublesome to be a bodyguard for someone, and it is not as satisfying as killing people. After the work is done, leave with a hidden merit and fame. Forget it, I'm not good at anything else except killing people. Devours, don't rush to refuse. You might as well take this business first. If it's convenient, you can take the person out. As for whether to do it or not, it's up to you. If that's the case, it's okay. It's just a matter of convenience. If I take the person out of the Nine-Bend Cave, where should I send him? As long as Devours takes the person out and sends him to any fairy city around, we will send someone to pick him up. Okay, I'll take this business first, but I have to make a promise first. If it's not convenient, don't blame me if the business fails. Devours, don't worry. It's up to you whether to do this business in the end. Chapter 855. Are you teasing me? At noon the next day, the intelligence from Ruai Pavilion came. According to the intelligence, Fushun bandits may be preparing to hold an auction recently, and all members of the organization will be present. Although the scale of the auction organized by Fushun bandits cannot be compared with the several major auction houses in Jiuqu Cave, the auction of a small gang like this is actually a small-scale sale of stolen goods, and most of the participants are familiar old customers. However, although Fushun bandits is only a small gang, this gang has always been bold and has committed countless bloody cases in Wuyaoshan before. Now the crime area of this gang of bandits has developed to other star fields, and each time it is a big case that breaks the sky. And the stolen goods they take out are all top-grade cultivation materials that are difficult to see outside. Therefore, every auction of Fushun bandits will cause a certain sensation in Jiuqu Cave, and even the admission tickets to the auction will be sold at sky-high prices. Now Ruai Pavilion is trying every means to get Su Fan an admission ticket to the auction. There are still a few days before the auction of Fushun bandits. Su Fan just needs to wait patiently. Su Fan did not go out today. Instead, he sat cross-legged on the couch in the guest room, drinking tea leisurely. This Fushun bandits is quite interesting. He should be the black love of a big force, specializing in doing dirty work for others. After listening to the words of the evil Buddha Wangda, Su Fan smiled and nodded. I think so too. Either it is a small gang of bandits. Who gave them the courage to commit so many major crimes? Boy, you have to be careful this time. It's best to kill only one waifu, and don't touch the other people of the Fushun bandits. Hearing this old man say this, Su Fan frowned immediately. He wanted to kill only one waifu, but how could the Fushun bandits allow him to kill the second in command of the organization? We'll see when the time comes. If those guys don't know what's good for them, I don't care who's behind them, I'll just kill them all. If you only kill waifu, then Huangquan Tower will naturally take the blame for you. If you kill the entire Fushun bandits, then you'll have to take it all on your own. It has to be said that what the evil Buddha Wangda said does make sense. This is also the main reason why the bounty hunters of Huangquan Tower have never succeeded in the past. The Fushun bandits have a deep background, and no one wants to offend this brutal bandit group for the organization's mission. In addition, the intelligence system of Huangquan Tower here must have some unclear secrets with the Fushun bandits. This is why the bounty mission of Waifu has been hanging in the organization for 30 years. Now it seems that Zuming, that guy, should not have any good intentions. How could this guy not know what's going on here? So he gave this mission to himself, which was clearly a trap for him. Isn't it because he just joined Huangquan Tower and doesn't understand the secrets? Damn it, you really think I'm a fool? Thinking of this, Su Fan sneered. Then I will do as you wish, kill him until the river of blood flows, and kill all the Fushun bandits. As for the big forces behind the Fushun bandits, others may have concerns, but for Su Fan, it is not a big deal at all. Anyway, too many lice don't bite. Too many debts don't worry, there are too many people chasing me, this one doesn't matter. At worst, he will pat his butt and leave after the job is done, leaving this mess to the Huangquan Tower to clean up. When Su Fan was thinking about it, a jade talisman on his waist vibrated slightly. He took off the jade talisman from his waist and took a look, and found that it was a message from Zhu Ming of the Huangquan Tower. Devours, I heard from your contact that you haven't contacted them yet. Haven't you arrived at Broken Blade Canyon yet? I've arrived, but I haven't contacted the contact yet. I don't trust the people in your Yellow Springs Tower. After Su Fan sent this message, it took a long time for Zhu Ming to reply. This guy probably didn't expect Su Fan to be so direct and didn't leave him any room. Devours, some of our people in Broken Blade Canyon are still very reliable, damn you. From the tone of this guy, he might not even know who is reliable. I don't have time to waste on you. I just want to ask you now, is this mission a trap you dug for me? Su Fan sent this message and silenced Zhu Ming again. After a long time, he replied with a message. Devours, listen to my explanation. What the hell is the explanation? You're still playing these roundabout tricks with me at this time. If I trust you again in the future, I'll be a fool. Don't say anything, I will complete this task, okay? I'll be frank. This bounty task has been on the shelf in our Huangquan Tower for many years. Although it's not difficult, this task is very troublesome. Then why did you introduce this task to me? What do you think? Although this task is not difficult, it is difficult for anyone to do it. The bounty hunters in our Huangquan Tower have this or the concern. My idea is very simple, and you are the only one who has no scruples. Although Zhu Ming didn't say it clearly, Su Fan could probably guess it. The inside of the Huangquan Tower must be a mess, with various hills intricately connected. Anyway, it's not quiet. No wonder it has been declining over the years and is almost suppressed by the Wangchuan Palace. Just this time, if you play tricks with me again in the future, I won't do it. Devours, rest assured, I swear by my Dao heart that if there is a next time, I will make my cultivation stagnate forever. This is fucking. It's just a small matter, you swore an oath, do you really need to? Su Fan didn't want to get involved in the mess of Huangquan Tower. After completing this mission, he would have 20 years of peace. Well, I know, don't worry, fellow Taoist, you use your own intelligence resources for this mission. I will ask the higher-ups to try to double your commission. The commissions for the missions were just small money in Su Fan's eyes, and he didn't care at all. Su Fan directly cut off the connection between the two and threw the jade talisman into the ring. At this time, there was a knock on the door outside the guest room. Su Fan frowned and stood up, then pushed open the door. He saw a shop assistant standing outside the door and bowed to him. Senior, someone just left something for you, let me give it to you personally. After the other party finished speaking, He presented a ring with both hands. Su Fan took the ring, then took out a few spirit crystals and sent the inn's assistant away. He closed the door of the guest room, sat cross-legged, and carefully examined the ring in his hand. Su Fan's eyes narrowed, and he scanned the ring with his spiritual sense, and found that there was a restriction on the ring. Who the hell is this? Who the hell is this? Are you kidding me? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 856, The Service of Ruai Pavilion is really awesome. Just when he was confused, the jade talisman of Ruai Pavilion on his waist vibrated slightly. Su Fan took off the jade talisman on his waist and found that it was a message from Qin Yu. Devours, did you receive the ring? Seeing the message from Qin Yu, Su Fan was even more confused. But before he could ask, the other party had sent another message. The ring contains the blood and key of the direct descendant of our gold medal customer. If it is convenient for you, take her out of the Nine Bends cave. Su Fan couldn't help but smile bitterly. This guy is really persistent. Okay, I know. By the way, there is a restriction on the ring. I will pass on the method to remove the restriction later, then, can you pass on the method to remove the restriction of the ring? Su Fan removed the restriction of the ring, scanned it with his spiritual sense, and then took out a jade bottle from the ring. This jade bottle contained a drop of blood and key, which should be the blood and essence of the descendant of the gold medal customer. He thought about it, and then put the jade bottle into the ring. We'll see when the time comes. If it's convenient, take this task. It's a handy thing anyway, just consider it as earning some extra money. Su Fan stood up from the ground and left the inn. He walked around the street for a while, then turned into an empty alley. When he came out, his appearance and aura had changed into another image. Su Fan came to the Song Tao Ju Inn. He looked up at the plaque above, then walked in. Senior, are you staying at the inn? I'm not staying at the inn. Am I coming to your place for dinner? Hearing Su Fan say this, the innkeeper's eyes moved, and he quickly extended his hand to welcome him in. Senior, please come in. The innkeeper led Su Fan to a room in the backyard of the inn, then knocked on the door gently a few times, then pushed the door open and let him in. In the room, a Yuanying realm cultivator was leisurely drinking tea. The innkeeper winked at him, then turned and walked out. Devours, please sit down and have a cup of tea. Su Fan was not polite. He walked over and sat cross-legged in front of the other party. He took the teacup handed over by the other party and took a sip. He put down the teacup, took out a jade talisman from his ring and handed it to the other party. The Yuanying realm cultivator took the jade talisman, scratched it under the table, and then returned the jade talisman to Su Fan with a smile. I am Song Haodong. Why did Devours ego arrive only today? Su Fan nodded and said, something delayed me on the way. After he finished speaking, he glanced at the other party and asked, Deoao Haodong, do you have any recent information about Wei Fu? To be honest, Deoao, Wei Fu has always been elusive. There is really no information about him recently. Deoao, please wait for a few days. I will try my best to collect it for you, then I will trouble Deoao Haodong. Su Fan chatted with Song Haodong for a few more words, then stood up and said goodbye, turned around and walked out of the house. Song Haodong also stood up to see him off and politely sent Su Fan out of the house. He turned around and went back to the house, sat cross-legged, took a sip of tea, then took out the communication array from his waist and sent a message. Our Huangquan Tower just sent a bounty hunter here. It's been several years. Why did they send someone here again? Who is it this time? His name is Zigu. He is in the late nascent soul realm, and he is a newcomer who has just joined the Huangquan Tower. How much do you look down on me to send a green hands in the nascent soul realm? I guess you must have offended someone, so he sent this guy here to die. Leave him alone for a few days, and find a chance to kill him in a few days. Well, I'll arrange someone to do it then. By the way, is there any good stuff in this auction? Let me take a look first. I'm afraid it won't work this time. Someone is coming from above. Let's wait for the next time. Well, then I'll go to the auction to join in the fun. Su Fan walked out of the house. The innkeeper was waiting outside. When he saw him coming out, he hurried over. Senior, please follow me. The other party took him to a luxurious suite and then left. Su Fan entered the luxurious suite, looked around, and then sat down cross-legged. His eyes condensed, and his consciousness swept over his body, and he couldn't help but sneered. That Song Haodong actually secretly left an imperceptible mark on him. His intuition told him that the intelligence system of Huangquan Tower here was probably rotten from top to bottom. Of course, it may also be that the place Broken Blade Canyon has become the forbidden delicacy of a certain mountain inside Huangquan Tower. If he hadn't used the intelligence resources of Ruai Pavilion, if he really wanted to change someone, he would really be in the dark in Broken Blade Canyon. Su Fan had no interest in the mess inside Huangquan Tower. As long as these people didn't hold him back, he would leave Broken Blade Canyon after killing Wei Fu, and he wouldn't care about their shit at all. The next morning, Su Fan left the Song Taoju Inn early. Qin Yu from Ruai Pavilion contacted him last night. For the sake of caution, he did not activate the light curtain to check. He found a restaurant to have breakfast, and then walked on the street. After walking a few steps, Su Fan sensed that someone was following him. He continued to stroll on the street without making a sound. At noon, he walked into a luxurious restaurant and asked for a private room, and then set up an isolation formation. Su Fan took off the Jade Talisman of Ruai Pavilion from his waist, and then activated the light curtain. Qin Yu had sent all the information about Fushan bandits and Wei Fu to the transparent light curtain in front of him. In addition to this information, Ruai Pavilion also helped him get the voucher for the auction of Fushan bandits. It must be said that the service of Ruai Pavilion is really awesome. It's just that the service fee is too expensive, so expensive that it makes his heart bleed. Fortunately, Su Fan still has a lot of funds deposited in Ruai Pavilion, which is definitely enough for him to squander for a while. After he finished his meal at the hotel, he went to a shop on the street and used a code word to get the voucher for the Fushan bandits auction from the contact person at Ruai Pavilion. It was not until the evening that Su Fan returned to the Song Taoju Inn. In the next few days, he went out early and came back late every day, wandering around the Jukwa cave every day. During this period, he also participated in an auction. Although there were many fine products auctioned here, there was nothing he wanted. Finally, the day of the Fushan bandits auction arrived. Su Fan still left the Song Taoju Inn early, and then wandered around the Jukwa cave for a whole day. Because the auction was scheduled at midnight, he did not return to Song Taoju tonight, but walked into a place called Minxiangian. Su Fan found a beautiful female cultivator in the Jiandan realm in Minxiangian and prepared to practice double cultivation with her all night. Chapter 857. It feels so good to be able to buy on credit. Minxian Garden is simply sky high. There is no way to avoid it. It is just like this in a place like Jukwa Cave. However, the female Jiandan cultivator that Su Fan found is quite good. Moreover, the other party is also a serious cultivator of the Hehuan Dao of the demon sect. The various tricks such as 48 moves and 72 styles also opened his eyes. Su Fan practiced with a girl until midnight, and then he used the secret method of the soul to make her fall asleep. He left his clone in the private room, and also left the robe that Song Haodong had marked in the room, and then turned into a light mist and floated out of the private room. Su Fan, who was in a mist state, just floated out of Minxian Garden and sensed the breath of several cultivators. They should be the spies arranged by Song Haodong to follow. However, their attention was focused on the clone in the private room of Minxian Garden, and they did not notice Su Fan in a mist at all. It was already midnight, but the nine-curved cave was still brightly lit, and the streets were bustling with people. Su Fan found an empty alley and restored his true form. When he walked out of the alley, his body shape, appearance, and aura had changed. He came to the door of an inconspicuous shop, looked up at the plaque above, and then walked in. The shop was not big, with only one counter, and the goods in the shop were all inconspicuous common goods. There was only one clerk in the room, who was dozing off behind the counter. When he saw him coming, he stood up quickly. Before the other party could speak, Su Fan took out the auction token from his ring and shook it in front of him. "Senior, please follow me." Su Fan followed the clerk to the backyard of the shop, and then walked into an inconspicuous utility room. The clerk in the shop waved his hand, dispelled the illusion array in the house, and revealed a miniature teleportation array on the ground. He took out a dark cloak and handed it to Su Fan. "Senior, please put on this cloak." Su Fan took the cloak and put it on himself, and immediately felt that his breath was isolated by the cloak. "Senior, please." After listening to the words of the waiter, Su Fan stepped onto the microarray, and with a burst of dazzling light, his figure disappeared from the array. Next, Su Fan came to 3 unknown places in succession, constantly changing micro-transmission arrays, and then came to a yard. It must be said that the auction of Fushun bandits is really secretive. I don't know why the auction of a small gang of bandits is so troublesome. In Su Fan's opinion, this is just a trick. Fushun bandits are the local snakes here, and coupled with this special environment of Broken Blade Canyon, the cultivators of the Void Refining Realm can't enter at all. At least in Broken Blade Canyon, ordinary people really can't do anything to Fushun bandits. The reason why our Ruai Pavilion was able to get the auction voucher is also because of this reason. It can only mean that the Fushun bandits are very confident and do not think that anyone in the Broken Blade Canyon will pose a threat to them. Unfortunately, the Fushun bandits never dreamed that this time they would encounter Su Fan, a pervert who defied the heavens. At this time, more than a dozen monks wearing cloaks like Su Fan stood in different corners of the yard. It seems that these people came to this yard from different places. Su Fan felt more and more that the Fushun bandits were deliberately making a mystery. In fact, they just wanted to give people a sense of mystery and make them look forward to this auction more. Fellow Daoists, please follow me. At this time, a Yuanying realm monk came in from outside and bowed to everyone. Su Fan and others followed him out of the yard and entered a monastery. The Yuanying realm monk came to the innermost wall of the monastery and waved his hand gently. The wall surface suddenly changed and rippled. The other party nodded to Su Fan and others, and then took the lead to walk into the ripples. Su Fan followed the crowd into the rippling wall. When he opened his eyes again, the view is suddenly clear. This was obviously a secret place, and it was probably a secret base of the Fushun bandits. The spiritual energy in this secret place was quite rich. It was surrounded by continuous mountains, hundreds of large and small peaks, green as if freshly washed, and the depth of the surrounding dark blue set off the shades of the mountains and forests. Not far away, a luxurious courtyard stood on the mountain, with a gurgling stream, and towering old willows hanging down beside the single plank bridge. In the distance, there were fields and paths, and vaguely people were working in them. In the near distance, yellow dogs chased chickens, and the noise was mixed with a few cicadas. Su Fan followed the crowd across the small bridge and entered the luxurious courtyard in front. Everyone came to the spacious outer courtyard, where many chairs were placed. More than 100 monks in black cloaks were already sitting there waiting for the auction to begin. Su Fan turned his head and glanced, his eyes suddenly condensed. He actually smelled Song Haodong's breath among these people. Damn, it seems that this guy has a close relationship with the Fushun bandits. No wonder Mr. Wei has been on the bounty list of the Huangquan Tower for decades, all because of this guy. Ignore him for now, and settle accounts with this guy later. Su Fan cast his eyes on a wooden platform at the end of the yard, and saw several cultivators in the transformation realm sitting side by side on the wooden platform. The leader was a middle-aged man in the half-step refining void realm. This person should be Dukang, the leader of the Fushun bandits. Su Fan looked at the transformation realm cultivator on Dukang's left again, and a smile appeared on his face. This guy should be his target this time, Mr. Wei. However, the person sitting on Dukang's right made Su Fan frown. In the information given to him by Ruai Pavilion, there was no information about this person among the senior executives of the Fushun bandits. The other party should not be a member of the Fushun bandits, but he sat with Dukang, which means that this person's identity should not be simple. Damn, who cares who he is? Anyway, anyone who can hang out with the Fushun bandits must not be a good person. Since Wei Fu has been found, let's do it. Thinking of this, he sent a thought to the Woman Upper Realm boss. Senior, start, upgrade me to the late stage of the transformation realm. After all, he will soon face several transformation realm cultivators of the Fushun bandits, and who knows if there are any high-level cultivators among the people who came to the auction today. So for the sake of caution, he directly asked the Woman Upper Realm boss to upgrade his realm to the late stage of the transformation realm. It feels so good to be able to buy on credit. Although it is much more expensive than setting up the witch formation in advance, it can also save him a lot of trouble. As soon as Su Fan sent out this thought, his whole body suddenly appeared with dense blood-colored runes. Boom, a blood-colored beam of light instantly fell from the sky, covering Su Fan's figure. Chapter 858, Fellow Taoist, you're going too far. The blood-colored light column that fell from the sky also stunned the cultivators in the secret realm. Especially the high-ranking members of the Fushun bandits on the wooden platform at the end of the yard. They were furious. This was on the territory of the Fushun bandits. It was so hard to hold an auction, but it was disrupted by someone. No one could stand it. This was clearly a slap in their faces. At this time, more than 100 bandit cultivators of the Fushun bandits rushed into the yard from outside and surrounded Su Fan. The cultivators wearing black cloaks under the wooden platform all stepped aside to watch the situation. After all, this was the Fushun bandits' own business, and no one wanted to get involved. The leader of the Fushun bandits, Du Kang, said in a deep voice, "Devours, you are going too far." Since the blood-colored light column appeared, he had seen Su Fan's background. This kid obviously forcibly promoted the nascent soul realm to the self-transformation god realm. Who gave him the courage to think that he could face several of their divine transformation realm cultivators directly with the realm he had raised through this secret method? Facing the questioning of Du Kang, the leader of the Fushun bandits, Su Fan sneered. He didn't want to waste time with the Fushun bandits at all. He didn't expect them to sit idly by when he killed Wei Fu in front of them. So he might as well just kill the Fushun bandits in one fell swoop. The Yellow Springs Tower is doing things, and idlers should stay away. Su Fan regretted it as soon as he finished speaking. He didn't know why he just said this casually. He felt ashamed to say such a stupid thing in front of so many people. But since the words had been said, Su Fan could only admit it. But when the cultivators in the secret realm heard this, they were all shocked. Since the last time Su Fan slaughtered the Black Wind village, this sentence has spread throughout the entire Burial Demon Mountain range, and it has become more and more bizarre. All the cultivators have heard that a ruthless man has recently come to the Huangquan Tower and would slaughter all the families without leaving any survivors. Especially Song Heodong, who was sitting below. He stood up suddenly and stared at Su Fan. Wei Fu, who was on the wooden platform opposite, showed a sneer and looked at Song Heodong below with a teasing look. "You, Song Heodong, actually played this trick on me. Boy, you came here for me today, right? Who gave you the courage to come to our Fushun bandits' territory alone?" Su Fan didn't have time to waste time with him. His eyes were fixed. A gloomy and strange vertical eye suddenly appeared on his forehead, and then slowly opened, revealing a sinister and vicious aura in the strange vertical eye. Not good. Du Kang realized that something was wrong and shouted quickly. But his reminder was obviously a step too late, and Su Fan had already launched this demon clan magic. An extremely powerful divine thought, like a raging wave, swept around Su Fan. Pa! Pa! The heads of more than 100 Fushun bandits exploded, and colorful brains and blood splattered everywhere. In the blink of an eye, more than 100 corpses of bandits fell around Su Fan, leaving brains and bone and flesh fragments all over the ground. Except for several divine transformation cultivators, such as Du Kang and Wei Fu, on the wooden platform opposite. The bandits of Fushun bandits had been annihilated. The monks wearing black cloaks under the wooden platform were all stunned by this scene. No one expected that this kid would start fighting as soon as he said it was too cruel. Looking at the more than 100 dead bandits, Du Kang, Wei Fu and others' eyes were red. These people have been brothers in life and death with them for many years, and they have all crawled out of the pile of dead bodies together. Unexpectedly, in the blink of an eye, they were all gone. "You are looking for death?" Du Kang roared, his eyes fixed, and he sacrificed a treasure, but before he could attack Su Fan suddenly had a huge hammer in his hand, and swung it towards him. With a vast and terrifying momentum whistling, a huge hammer of more than 100 feet long was seen falling from the sky. Looking at the huge hammer, Du Kang felt his scalp numb, and his face suddenly became solemn. For some reason, the huge hammer opposite made him feel an unprecedented fear. He quickly sacrificed a palm-sized tortoise shell and threw it into the air. In an instant, a huge shield of about 10 feet in size was condensed to block himself. But Du Kang still felt uneasy, and smashed a jade talisman that was kept in the bottom of the box on his chest, and propped up a spiritual shield to cover him. Boom boom! Su Fan's 8th level immortal weapon demon-subduing sky-splitting mountain hammer smashed hard on Du Kang's protective treasure, and a terrifying roar broke out. The giant tortoise shield that Su Chang sacrificed, which was about 10 feet in size, was instantly reduced to dust. The demon-subduing sky-splitting mountain hammer did not hesitate at all and hit the spiritual shield again. Boom boom! The earth-shaking roar sounded again, and the spiritual shield collapsed instantly. But it also barely blocked the demon-subduing sky-splitting mountain hammer. 2 consecutive violent collisions instantly produced a terrifying explosion that almost overturned the entire sky, and the entire secret realm shook violently. The terrifying and powerful force rolled up a terrifying storm that penetrated the sky and the earth, and a visible airflow swept in all directions. The sharp and boundless terrifying airflow seemed to cut the entire space into pieces in an instant, and everything in its path was reduced to dust. As the dust and smoke cleared, the land within a radius of dozens of miles seemed to have been scraped off a layer, and the miserable scene was like the end of the world. The luxurious courtyard just now no longer existed, and turned into flat land, as if it had never appeared. The monks wearing black cloaks under the wooden platform just now were also blown away by this powerful and terrifying storm. Du Kang was even more miserable. He was blown back by the terrifying aftermath of the explosion, flying more than 10 miles away, and then crashed hard into the mountain. The power of the 8th level immortal weapon demon-subduing sky-splitting mountain hammer can be seen. Since Su Fan used the dragon elephant swallowing yuan training blood profound art to temper the trace of foreign demon blood in his body for the 3rd round, his strength has once again skyrocketed. Now he can use the demon-subduing sky-splitting mountain hammer with ease. Although his strength was only equivalent to the late stage of the spiritualization realm at the moment, he was still able to completely crush Du Kang, who was in the half-step continuous realm. Wei Fu, who was shaken out more than 10 miles away, got up from the ground with difficulty. With a puff, he spurted out a mouthful of blood. He couldn't stay here any longer. The guy in the Huangquan Tower just now was not a human being at all. He endured the severe pain all over his body and gritted his teeth to get up and escape from here. But before he stood up, he found that someone was standing in front of him. Wei Fu was immediately shocked, but before he could react, he found that his neck had been grabbed by the other party. Crack! Su Fan exerted force and broke Wei Fu's neck. Swoosh! A black shadow rushed out of Wei Fu's body, but the yin god in his body was instantly blown up by Su Fan's punch. Su Fan put Wei Fu's body into the storage ring, and he turned around and looked at Du Kang not far away. Chapter 859, Monster, please take back your magical powers. With just this one blow from Su Fan, several high-ranking members of the Fushun bandits were pushed back more than 10 miles. Even Du Kang, who was at the half-step refining realm, barely managed to take the blow, but he was also embarrassed. The monks wearing black cloaks under the wooden platform retreated to the side early, but they were also blown back more than 10 miles by the aftermath of the devastating explosion. Not only that, he also took advantage of the chaos to easily kill Wei Fu, just like killing a chicken or a dog. This also made everyone dumbfounded. No one who can come to the auction side of the Fushun bandits is simple. The terrifying momentum of the demon-subduing sky-splitting mountain hammer just now shocked them. They felt a chill surging from the soles of their feet, and their whole bodies were cold to the bone. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. This is an 8th level immortal weapon. How is it impossible? That is an 8th level physical immortal weapon. This kid is a physical cultivator. The people from Huangquan Tower are too domineering. The grudge between Huangquan Tower and Fushun bandits has nothing to do with us. Let's leave here as soon as possible. No, the secret realm is closed. Open the secret realm immediately and let us out. At this moment, the people who came to the auction did not want to get involved in the affairs of the two families. But when they wanted to leave the secret realm, they found that the secret realm had been sealed by people outside. When Su Fan appeared just now, Du Kang had asked abandoned cultivators outside the secret realm to completely seal the secret realm. Originally, they wanted to catch the turtle in the jar, but who would have thought that they would even be locked in the secret realm? Everyone joined forces to kill this kid. Du Kang knew that there would be no peace today, so he shouted loudly. After he shouted, he sacrificed a 7th level knife-shaped treasure, then pinched a finger gesture and slashed towards Su Fan fiercely. Several other bandits of the Fushun bandits who were in the god transformation realm also offered their own treasures or used high-level Taoist magic to attack Su Fan. Su Fan thought and absorbed the demon-subduing sky-splitting mountain hammer into his hand, then raised the giant hammer with both hands. At this moment, in the eyes of everyone in the secret realm, it seemed that only the giant hammer was left between heaven and earth, and the vast and terrifying momentum almost suppressed the entire sky. The entire sky seemed to be pressed down, and the giant hammer seemed to be surrounded by a mysterious chaotic aura. Layers of terrifying auras constantly collided and eroded between heaven and earth, and the terrifying impacts caused the heaven and earth to vibrate. Boom! As the giant hammer fell from the sky, A shock wave like a tsunami suddenly swept across a radius of hundreds of miles, and the terrifying storm formed raged wildly. Boom! With a loud noise that shook the earth, the demon-subduing sky-splitting mountain hammer slammed hard on Du Kang's 7th-level knife-shaped treasure. Instantly, a devastating explosion erupted, and the incomparably majestic aura of destruction almost shattered the void. The aftermath of the explosion caused by the collision formed a world-destroying annihilation force, sweeping around like a terrifying hurricane, swallowing up everything in the secret realm. Du Kang's 7th-level knife-shaped treasure uttered a shrill whine and was instantly smashed away. This treasure was his lifelong magic weapon, and it had already given birth to a trace of spiritual intelligence, but at this time it had lost its spirituality and was blown away and fell to the ground. The treasures and Taoist arts of the other several Fushun bandits in the God transformation realm were even more unbearable. They were instantly caught up in the flooding and sweeping vibrations of the heaven and earth, and were shattered and scattered. Puff! Du Kang violently spat out a mouthful of blood, and his body was also shaken by the terrifying annihilation energy and fell to the ground like a kite with a broken string. The other several Fushun bandits who were in the God transformation realm were even worse off. Their bodies were shaken and disintegrated, turning into a bloody rain, and their broken limbs and arms fell to the ground with a crackling sound. Although the monks who came to participate in the auction were far away from the battlefield, they were like lonely boats caught in a tsunami, and were instantly submerged in this terrifying storm. Fortunately, they were far away and had already taken out their life-saving methods, which barely saved their lives. As the smoke and dust in the secret realm dissipated, the space in the secret realm was already in danger under the ravages of Su Fan's 2 heavy hammers. The surrounding space was like a mirror with ripples, and dense spider web-like cracks spread all over the sky of the secret realm. At this time, a monk who participated in the auction struggled to get up from the ground. He tore off the black cloak on himself and bowed to Su Fan in the distance. "I am Xia Haoyu from Xia Oyo Palace. The secret space is already in danger. Please don't attack again." After hearing his words, several monks got up, tore off their black cloaks, and shouted at Su Fan. "I am Yan Fei from Yin Valley Demon Sect. Please be cautious and don't attack again. If the secret space collapses, we will all die without a burial place. I am Xiao Ji from Fuyin Palace. I hope you will show some mercy. If you need me in the future, I will die for you. I am Hong Wonkin from Tenri Mountain in the south region. I beg you to show some mercy. If you need my Hong family in Tenri Mountain in the future, I will do my best." These people were forced into a corner and even revealed their true identities. Now that the secret space is on the verge of destruction and collapse, how can they care about those things? They all mean the same thing. That is, "You monster, please put away your magical powers as soon as possible." These people introduced themselves one after another, and there was actually a hint of threat in them. If they died in the secret realm of the Fushun bandits at the same time, the Huangquan Tower would be in trouble. In fact, these people were also frightened. Who is Su Fan? How could he care about their attitude? Besides, how could Su Fan let the secret realm collapse? He didn't want to die. Moreover, Du Kang, the only one left in the Fushun bandits, had no power to fight back now, so why would he use any big moves? Hearing the noise of a group of people in the distance, Su Fan smiled. He turned his head and glanced at Du Kang in the distance. His eyes condensed and his figure disappeared from the spot. Dragon Elephant Step. Su Fan appeared in front of Du Kang in an instant. With a bang, he stepped on him. The other party was dead and could not die anymore. Swoosh, a black smoke rushed out from Du Kang's corpse, but Su Fan grabbed it in his hand and cast a spell to imprison him. He took out the oil lamp magic weapon and prepared to hand over Du Kang's yin shen to the evil Buddha Wangda for a good treatment. Su Fan's consciousness swept through and he frowned immediately. He found that there was actually a fish that had escaped the net in the distance. That was the cultivator in the spiritualization realm who had just sat next to Du Kang. Chapter 860, When it comes to doing business, he is a fool. Su Fan sucked the ring on Du Kang's finger, put his body into the ring, and then came to the fish that escaped. Although he just survived Su Fan's hammer, his condition was also exhausted, and anyone could kill him now. "Who are you?" The other party struggled to get up from the ground, but gave up after trying several times. Don't kill me, I'm not from the Fushun bandits." Hearing the other party's words, Su Fan frowned immediately. "Then why did you attack me just now, Dao? Dao. As long as you spare me, I will pay you the ransom." After hearing Su Fan's words, Before he could say anything, he heard Song Haodong shouting loudly in the distance. Zigu, don't kill him, he is from the Wuyi. Hearing Song Haodong's words, Su Fan frowned immediately. What is the Wuyi and what does it sell? Although Su Fan was confused at this time, there were still people who had heard of this Wuyi among the monks who participated in the auction. I have heard that the Fushun bandits are the black loves of a certain force, but I didn't expect it to be the Wuyi. This Wuyi is incredible. It is said that they are not only in our world, but their influence is spread across multiple worlds. I have heard of the Wuyi from my family before. It is said that their influence is much stronger than the Huangquan Tower. Su Fan thought for a while, and then sent a thought to the big man in the upper world of Wuman. Senior, have you heard of the Wuyi? Of course I have heard of it. The Wuyi is similar to the Ruai Pavilion. They are both organizations with businesses spread across all walks of life, but one is black and the other is white. Su Fan understood that the Ruai Pavilion is doing legitimate business, while this Wuyi is playing dirty tricks. If I catch a person from the Wuyi, should I kill him or let him go? Boy, no matter who it is, as long as you provoke the Wuyi, whether you kill him or let him go, you will be retaliated by them. This is fucking. It seems that this Wuyi is really domineering. In this case, let's not kill him first. Anyway, the result is the same, so it's better to squeeze some oil and water from this kid. As for the pursuit of the Wuyi, Su Fan didn't take it seriously at all. Anyway, too many lice don't bite, and too many debts don't worry. Su Fan has offended many people, such as the Wangchuan Palace and the Xianren clan, all of whom want to cut him into pieces, but I'm still alive and well. Thinking of this, Su Fan glanced at the man. I don't care who you are, you attacked me just now, so you have to give me an explanation. After hearing Su Fan's words, the other party was relieved. This guy finally gave up his murderous intention. He was almost desperate when he fell into the hands of this killer. Don't worry, fellow Taoist, just name a price, I won't bargain. Su Fan likes this kind of local tyrants who don't bargain, so I won't be polite. No, he is a fool when it comes to doing business. This is a big deal, and Kin Yu from Ruai Pavilion has to help him negotiate. He is much more shady than me. Thinking of this, Su Fan flicked his fingers and launched a stream of ki to knock this guy unconscious, and then put it into his portable secret realm. He turned around and looked at Song Haodong standing in the crowd in the distance, and then sneered. Su Fan's eyes condensed, and he instantly condensed a divine thought, and fiercely grabbed Song Haodong's neck, and then sucked him in front of him. Zigu, you, let go, listen to me, listen to my explanation, I won't kill you, I will hand you over to the law enforcement hall of Huangquan Tower, you can take care of yourself. After Su Fan finished speaking, he confused Song Haodong and put him into his portable secret realm. He glanced at the monks who came to the auction in the distance. They were looking at him eagerly. Su Fan took out Du Kang's ring, took out a jade key of the secret realm, and then opened the exit of the secret realm. As soon as the exit of the secret realm was opened, the monks who participated in the Fushun bandits auction left the secret realm one after another. Su Fan summoned Sister Zhen to quickly clean up the battlefield, and then left the secret realm. After he left the secret realm, he changed back to the identity arranged for him by Ruai Pavilion and returned to the inn. Su Fan sat cross-legged on the couch and took off the jade talisman of Huangquan Tower from his waist. The mission is completed, Mr. Wei has been captivated. As soon as his message was sent, Zhu Ming's message was instantly replied. Congratulations, fellow Taoist, you have completed the mission beyond your level. Song Haodong is in my hands. Then he sent Zhu Ming the details of Song Haodong's appearance at the Fushun bandits auction. Just because he was a traitor, no one in Huangquan Tower dared to protect him. Don't worry, I will report this matter. Su Fan did not mention the Wuyi. Now he still did not trust the Wang Quanlu. Who knows if they will betray him. Su Fan put away the jade talisman of the Wang Quanlu, and then took off the jade talisman of the Ruai Pavilion from his waist. Do you know the Wuyi? Did you have a conflict with them? It's best not to provoke this organization easily. The Wuyi is famous for its revenge. Then, Su Fan told him about his experience at the Fushun bandits auction. What the Taoist means is, anyway, whether I kill this person or not, I will offend the Wuyi. Why not squeeze some money out of him? I understand, let me handle this matter, someone will contact you tomorrow. Seeing Kin Yu's message, Su Fan couldn't help but laugh. The Ruai Pavilion is the darkest place he has ever seen. If they are allowed to discuss this matter, they must squeeze the other party dry. Moreover, Su Fan had no intention of handing that person over to the Wu Yudao in one piece. In the next few days, the news that Su Fan had slaughtered all the Fushan bandits in the Jiuqua cave soon spread throughout the whole Wu Ocean. If the last time Su Fan destroyed the Black Wind village, it could only be regarded as a minor incident. Then this time he slaughtered all the Fushan bandits, it would be a big event. Although ordinary cultivators don't know who is behind the Fushan society, the top leaders of those super sects and cultivation families know it clearly. That's the Wu Yudao, even the Huangquan Tower has to think about it. After all, the power of the Huangquan Tower is limited to Wu Ocean, while the Wu Yudao is a superpower that spans many realms. Now all the cultivators in Wu Ocean are waiting for the attitude of the Huangquan Tower. Not only others, but even Su Fan is patiently waiting for the attitude of the Huangquan Tower. If the Huangquan building could stand up and protect him from the wind and rain this time, then it would be worth it for him to work for this organization in the future. If the Huangquan building betrayed him, then he should just quit. Chapter 861. Su Fan felt fooled by this guy again. At night, Zhu Ming of Huangquan Tower contacted Su Fan again. Did you catch someone from Wu Yudao? Because Song Haodong was detained by Su Fan, the intelligence system of Huangquan Tower in Jiuqua Cave was temporarily shut down. So it was not until the news spread from Broken Blade Canyon that Huangquan Tower got the information. Well, the person from Wu Yudao happened to be there at the time. I didn't kill him, I just detained him. At this moment, Zhu Ming knew very well that when Su Fan reported to him, he didn't mention this matter, which meant that this kid had lost trust in him. This also made him very scratching his head. Once Su Fan lost trust in Huangquan Tower, it would be a disaster. For this reason, Zhu Ming specially reported this matter to the senior management of Huangquan Tower. The reply from the senior management of Huangquan Tower was that no matter what method Zhu Ming used, he must win over Su Fan. Zigu, don't worry, you are from our Huangquan Tower, and we will take over the Wu Yudao. This is not much worse. Su Fan felt better after seeing the message from Zhu Ming. Although he was not afraid of the threat from the Wu Yudao, if the Wang Quanlu took the lead for him, it would save him a lot of trouble. No need, I provoked this myself. I heard that the Wu Yudao is very powerful, so I won't cause trouble to the organization. Su Fan was a little worried, and sent another message tentatively. Zigu, in fact, the responsibility for this matter is mine. When I asked you to accept the task, I concealed the matter of the Wu Yudao from you. You don't have to worry about the rest of the matter. Leave it to me. Perhaps because he was afraid that Su Fan would not believe it, Zhu Ming sent another message immediately. Although the Wu Yudao is powerful, it is our Wang Quanlu that has the final say in Wu Ocean. The organization's back is not simple either. I can only tell you this much, and I can't reveal more. After seeing Zhu Ming's reply, Su Fan was completely relieved. It seems that the Wang Quanlu should also be a big force, a black love in Wu Ocean. The underground world of this cultivation world is really messed up. Su Fan couldn't help but sigh. He just wanted to find a quiet place to lie down comfortably in this world of cultivation. But who would have thought that he would fall to this point and even get into the underground world? Why is it so difficult to survive in this world of cultivation? Then I'll leave it to you. I'm sorry to trouble the organization, it's okay. Just wait for a few days. I'll help you find another safe place. Do you have any requirements? No requirements. The original place is good. By the way, you have to be mentally prepared. Your identity may be exposed this time. In fact, Su Fan had already expected it. The characteristics of his way of attack were too obvious, and it was impossible to hide it from those who were interested. There was no way. He only had so many means and couldn't cover it up at all. Thinking of this, Su Fan suddenly had an idea in his mind. Can we exchange techniques and secret arts in Huangquan Tower? Of course we can. There are countless techniques, Taoist techniques and secret arts, but they must be exchanged with good deeds. What the hell? Since he joined Huangquan Tower, he has completed 2 mandatory tasks. There should be no hope of doing good deeds. I don't have many good deeds in these 2 tasks, let me calculate it for you. The last mandatory task was 5 good deeds. This task was the one you took the initiative to accept, and you completed it by crossing levels. That means 10 good deeds multiplied 10 times. Now you have a total of 105 good deeds. Su Fan was immediately excited when he saw the message sent by Zhu Ming. 105 good deeds should not be a small number. Can I exchange some techniques and secret arts with these good deeds? As soon as he sent the message, Zhu Ming sent a large number of techniques and secret arts that can be exchanged. It must be said that in order to encourage members within the organization, Huangquan Tower's various inherited techniques, Taoist techniques and secret arts are indeed very good. Many of the long-standing Taoist traditions, Taoist techniques, and secret techniques are indeed, as Zhu Ming said, countless and of very high quality. Unfortunately, Su Fan just took a simple glance and felt cold in his heart. The top 10 techniques are all regular Taoist techniques that have been passed down for a long time. The good deeds required to exchange for these inheritances are tens of thousands. Although the more powerful Taoist techniques, secret techniques, and secret methods require much less good deeds, they are still hundreds or thousands of good deeds. The little good deeds Su Fan has in his hands are not even enough. There is no such thing as pie in the sky in this world. Huangquan Tower is not a charity hall. It is an underground force that accepts money to buy lives. He can't desperately accept various bounty tasks from Huangquan Tower just to get enough good deeds. Forget it, my little good deeds can't exchange for anything. Zigu, you can choose some to exchange, and the organization can advance some good deeds to you. Seeing the message sent by Zhu Ming, Su Fan's mind suddenly became active. Now he really needs a soul secret method to cleanse his heart and resist the influence of the foreign demon blood in his body. Otherwise, he would not dare to rashly carry out the 4th round of tempering of his blood. How much merit can the organization advance me? Generally, members of the organization can advance less than 1,000 merits. Your situation is special. I can decide within 5,000, this is fucking. Huangquan Tower is going to tie him to death on this pirate ship. But Su Fan knew that this was a gentle trap, but he wanted to jump into it. There was no way. He was not interested in the skills of Huangquan Tower, but those high-end Taoist techniques and secrets were too tempting. But how can I pay back several thousand merits? Thinking of this, Su Fan used his mind to change the transparent light curtain, and the bounty list of Huangquan Tower appeared on the light curtain in front of him. He skipped the top ranking list directly. Although it was tens of thousands of merits, it was not at the level he could touch at present. Su Fan used his mind to pull the list down continuously, and after turning several pages, he finally saw the bounty task that suited him. Although the bounty was worth hundreds or thousands of merits, it was not too difficult for Su Fan. Su Fan looked through the bounty list for a while, and finally had some idea in his mind. He used his mind to change the light screen back to the original picture, and then began to look for the soul secret method that suited him. Su Fan spent a lot of time and finally found a soul secret method that suited him, but it actually required 10,000 merits to exchange for this secret method. He hesitated for a while, then made up his mind and sent a message to Zhu Ming. I want to advance 10,000 merits, is it okay? Originally, he thought that his request would make Zhu Ming feel embarrassed, but the other party replied without thinking. No problem, I will help you, this is. Su Fan felt that he was fooled by this guy again. It is estimated that even if he advances 100,000 merits, Zhu Ming will agree without hesitation. Su Fan had no idea that in order to tie him to the broken ship Huangquan Tower, Zhu Ming wanted him to do more good deeds in advance. This evildoer who defied heaven had just completed 2 tasks, and the reputation of Huangquan Tower spread throughout the world of cultivation. Even if this guy didn't accept any tasks in the future, his reputation alone would be enough to deter countless villains. Chapter 862, Robbing an Auction is really fun. With the help of Zhu Ming, Su Fan prepaid enough good deeds and successfully exchanged for this soul secret method. This soul secret method is called the soul refining technique of the netherworld heavenly magic appearance. As soon as you hear the name of this secret method, you know that this secret method comes from the soul of the demon sect. However, after Su Fan read the general outline of the secret method, he even suspected that this secret method might have been created by a certain evil cultivator. According to the general outline of the secret method, the soul strength of the cultivator who practices this netherworld heavenly magic appearance visualization soul refining technique must be far superior to that of ordinary people. If your soul is relatively weak, don't try to practice this secret method easily. Once you force yourself to practice, there is a risk of your soul being destroyed. Legend has it that this strange secret method is for cultivators to visualize the Dharma image of the foreign demon in the netherworld realm to train their souls. After reading the general outline of this secret method, Su Fan gave up the idea of practicing it immediately. This secret method is too evil. It is obviously the way of evil at a glance. Even if Su Fan claims to have an unmatched soul, he dare not try to practice it at this time. It is better to wait until we find a place to settle down in the future, and then try to practice this secret technique. Su Fan put away the jade talisman of Huangquan Tower, and then took out a ring from his arms. This ring was seized from Du Kang, the leader of the Fushan bandits, and he was still very much looking forward to the things inside. After all, the auction of the Fushan bandits has not started yet, and he has caught all of them. There must be a lot of good things in the rings of people like Du Kang and Wei Fu. Su Fan's eyes condensed, and his consciousness swept over Du Kang's ring. Fuck. When he saw the things in the ring, he couldn't help but curse. Did the Fushan bandits rob that super large company? I saw that the ring was filled with exquisite boxes, and the things inside were all top-quality cultivation materials that were rarely seen outside. These top-quality cultivation materials should all be the items in the auction of the Fushan bandits, and now they are all cheap to Su Fan. Killing people and arson, the golden belt, the ancients did not deceive me. Although the scale of the auction of Fushan bandits cannot be compared with those of big stores, every time they hold an auction, people still flock to it. It is because the quality of the auction items of Fushan bandits is extremely high, and it has already formed a good reputation in Jiugu Cave. Su Fan collected Du Kang's ring, and took out the rings of Wei Fu and others, but the things inside still shocked him. It seems that these fine cultivation materials are all stolen goods obtained by the Fushan bandits in the robbery, and they wanted to make a fortune in this auction. Who would have thought that this time he would take it all? Su Fan finally figured it out. Robbing an auction is really fun. At noon, Su Fan walked around the street of Jiugu Cave for a while, and then walked into a restaurant on the street. He found a seat in the hall, and then ordered some wine and food to eat. While eating, Su Fan listened to the chat of the monks in the hall, hoping to hear some news about him. You know what? He had just sat down and hadn't eaten a few bites when a table of monks next to him started talking about him. Everyone, a few days ago, the bounty hunter from Huangquan Tower killed all the Fushan bandits. It is said that he offended the people of Wu Dao. Is there any news now? In my opinion, Huangquan Dao has been in decline for many years now. I guess they don't dare to confront Wu Dao. In the end, they may have to hand over the people. Dao, you are wrong. Do you know how famous the person sent by Huangquan Dao this time has created for Huangquan Dao? I heard about it too. This guy is simply a killing god. Now everyone in Broken Blade Canyon is in danger, fearing that this guy will come to their door. Humph. This guy is too arrogant. If I meet him one day, I will. Before the last monk finished speaking, his mouth seemed to be covered by someone. Fellow Taoist Zhuan Guang, can you please keep your voice down? If that killer hears, we will all be implicated by you. Yeah, you better watch your mouth. Don't you think there are fewer people in the Broken Blade Canyon these days? They all ran away secretly. Su Fan was listening to this and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I'm not a killer, so why bother with you? At this time, the jade talisman of Ruai Pavilion on his waist vibrated slightly. Su Fan hurriedly ate a bite of food, then got up to pay the bill and returned to the inn. He walked into the guest room, sat cross-legged on the couch, took off the jade talisman from his waist, and input a trace of spiritual energy to activate the light curtain. Fellow Taoist, I have contacted the Wu Dao and am currently negotiating with him. Don't worry, I will definitely satisfy you. Su Fan was still very confident in the Ruai Pavilion, this black shop. Just go ahead and negotiate. I don't care how successful the negotiation is. The ransom will be on your side. By the way, the Fushan bandits have committed many murders in recent years. Many super large clans and cultivation families have issued bounties on them, involving hundreds of families. I have been in contact with them these days. It must be said that Su Fan is really relieved to be a client of Ruai Pavilion. If you were to ask for these bounties himself, not only would he not be able to afford it, but it is also uncertain whether they would give it to him. Go ahead and negotiate. The bounties will be on your side. Su Fan doesn't want to worry about these trivial matters. Professional work should be left to professionals. As for how much profit Ruai Pavilion will make from it, he really doesn't care. By the way, fellow Taoist is still in Jiugu Cave. Are you going to take up the escort mission? If Ken Yu hadn't said it, he would have almost forgotten about it. The mission of Huangquan Tower has been completed. Anyway, he is free, so he might as well make some extra money. Okay, I'll take this mission. As long as you activate the J talisman, the mission will begin. As long as you take that person out of the Soft Man Canyon, the mission will end. After Su Fan and Qin Yu ended their contact, he took out the blood of the person in the mission from the ring, used the magic blood secret method, and locked the person's breath. He stood up from the ground and walked out of the guest room, then came to the street of Jiuqua Cave and followed the other party's breath. Su Fan came to a luxurious shop, and the breath of his target was inside. He looked up at the shop's plaque, then walked inside, but before he entered the door, he was stopped by a cultivator. "Senior, our shop is holding an auction. We are sorry that we will not receive customers today. Please understand." Su Fan didn't say anything. He turned around and left the door of the shop, walked into a tea house opposite, found a seat by the window, and ordered a pot of spiritual tea and drank it slowly. It seems that the person he is escorting this time is extraordinary. He should be a disciple of a super sect. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 863, He is really a big dog owner. Su Fan drank tea in the tea house for half an hour before the auction of the luxury shop opposite ended. Looking at the people who kept coming out of the shop, he locked onto that breath in a moment. The target person was a very young Yuanying realm cultivator, with a slender and thin figure, red lips and white teeth, and a handsome face with a bit of delicateness. Anyway, he looked like a woman. There were two other people traveling with him, who were also similar to him. Just by looking at their clothes and temperament, you can tell that they were from an extraordinary family. No wonder his elders would hire people from the Ruai Pavilion to protect him. Such people are simply naked little white sheep in the Broken Blade Canyon. I don't know how many hungry wolves are staring at them. However, Su Fan found that there were several cultivators following him closely, and they were the ones who protected them. What shocked Su Fan the most was that these people were all Water Hushan realm cultivators. Su Fan frowned immediately. Did the other party already have someone to protect him? Why did Qin Yu ask him to take this task? Thinking of this, he took off a J talisman from his waist and sent a message to Qin Yu. That person already has someone protecting him. Why did you ask me to take this mission? Those people have also accepted the mission from our Ruai Pavilion. Including you, there are 5 of them. The elders of that family are worried and asked us to find as many people as possible. Anyway, as long as they can ensure that his descendants can leave the Broken Blade Canyon safely, they don't care about the spirit crystals at all. After reading the message sent by Qin Yu, Su Fan was dumbfounded. He's really a rich man. He actually hired so many people in a black shop like Ruai Pavilion. It must be a waste of money. Okay, then I'll follow them until we get that guy out of the Broken Blade Canyon, but the commission is a little too easy. Don't worry about it. If it weren't for the fact that we have too few customers in Ruai Pavilion, and only you guys are in Broken Blade Canyon, he might hire more people from us. Well, since he's a rich man, he will follow him and make money. Thinking of this, Su Fan left the tea house and followed those people from a distance. He was a little embarrassed about the money he made. There were already 5 divine transformation cultivators protecting the target person in front. Even if he encountered a crisis, there was no need for him to take action. Su Fan followed these people for a while and found that the young cultivator in the lead led his 2 companions into a luxury store again. He could see that these guys were the kind of dandy young masters from wealthy families. No wonder the other party's family was worried. These dandy young masters from wealthy families were not trustworthy no matter where they were. In just a short while, Su Fan found that several groups of people were targeting them. It was because their family was rich and powerful. If someone else dared to be so reckless in the Broken Blade Canyon, he would have been killed long ago. Broken Blade Canyon is the largest place for selling stolen goods in the entire Wai Ocean. What kind of people are there here? Bandits and evil cultivators are everywhere. It is simply a lawless place. Even if you are a disciple of a super sect, or a child of a high-level cultivation family, you still have to be humble when you come to such a place. Especially gangs like the Fushan bandits, all of them are daring. These bandits don't care who you are. As long as you fall into their hands, you will be killed without hesitation. And those evil cultivators are not easy to deal with. Once you are targeted by these guys, you can hardly escape their murderous hands. You don't even know how you died. In fact, it's not just a Broken Blade Canyon, the entire Burial Demon Mountain range is like this. Only the areas controlled by the few large loose cultivator alliances can be more peaceful here, and other places are quite chaotic. In such a lawless place, even those casual cultivators are often involved with those bandit cultivators and evil cultivators. Many casual cultivators even find a piece of cloth to cover their faces and turn into bandit cultivators. The next day, these guys visited almost all the high-end stores in Juqua Cave and participated in several auctions. Anyway, these dandies from wealthy families don't take spiritual crystals seriously at all. It may also be that these guys are controlled by their elders at home. This time, they came to Broken Blade Canyon like escaping from a cage and began to let themselves go. They were so wild in Juqua Cave that they were noticed by more and more people. Su Fan followed them and found that there were at least a dozen groups of people staring at these three fat sheep. If it weren't in Juqua Cave, these gangs would have probably taken action long ago. Su Fan already regretted taking this task. He thought he could follow behind and make money by lying down. These guys are too troublesome. I thought it was just a very simple task, but now it seems quite troublesome. No wonder the elders of the Dandy family spent a huge amount of money to hire 4 Transformation Realm monks through the Ruai Pavilion. The 4 Transformation Realm monks who followed the Dandies and were responsible for protecting them also realized that something was wrong. They knew in their hearts that it would definitely not work if they did not show up at this time. The several Transformation Realm monks exchanged glances with each other, and then came to the side of several people at the same time. Su Fan did not go over to join in the fun. He still stood in the distance and always kept a certain distance. The 4 Transformation Realm monks walked over and explained the purpose to them, but they did not expect that the dandies were very resistant and did not accept their protection at all. Although both sides were extremely unhappy, the 4 Transformation Realm monks still assumed their responsibilities and followed closely behind them. They could not let them wander around anymore. If these guys continue to wander around in the 9-curved cave, they might really not be able to get out of the Broken Blade Canyon. The appearance of the 4 Transformation Realm monks did indeed dispel the idea of plundering by several waves of bandit cultivators, and they all scattered. But there were still a few groups of people who didn't give up. Although the original followers dispersed, they all sent out spies to secretly monitor them. After all, these dudes were too rich, and many of them took risks. These dudes rarely left their families, and they wanted to indulge themselves once. But who would have thought that their families would find their traces and send several Transformation Realm monks to protect their safety? This also made them very annoyed, and they were very resistant to several Transformation Realm monks. Several dudes also knew that they couldn't get rid of these followers, so they didn't want to continue to stroll around, so they all returned to the hotel. 4 Transformation Realm monks also followed them to the hotel and guarded near the rooms of several dudes. Su Fan did not follow them into the hotel, but walked around several streets outside the hotel, and walked past several spies calmly. He just walked around the hotel and left his breath on several spies. Chapter 864, The world is so big, there is always a place for you to stay. When it was night, Su Fan also booked a room in this hotel. He sat cross-legged on the couch in the guest room, letting his mind go completely, and he could see all the movements of the gang's spies. He also had the target's aura under his control. Although the rich and powerful young man was quite capable, he had already accepted the task of Ruai Pavilion after all, and he had to be kept safe. At this time, the jade talisman of Huanquan Tower on his waist vibrated slightly. Su Fan took off the jade talisman from his waist, input a trace of spiritual energy to activate the transparent light curtain, and saw a line of handwriting appear on the light curtain. Devours, our Huanquan Tower has come forward to negotiate with Uai Dao, and the other party has agreed to end this matter. This is more like it. If Huanquan Tower does not help him shelter from the wind and rain, then he will definitely not be able to stay here. The world is so big, there is no place that is not a place to stay. You have caused trouble for the organization, fellow Taoist. What are you talking about? Are you also a member of our Huanquan Tower? Su Fan was indifferent by nature, but he was very nostalgic and never owed favors to anyone. Song Haodong is still in my hands. What rules does the organization have for him? Several deacons from the law enforcement hall of our Huanquan Tower will arrive at the Juqua Cave tomorrow. This time he is dead, and no one can save him. From Zhu Ming's tone, he was full of resentment towards Song Haodong. It seems that his previous guess was correct. The inside of the Huanquan Tower was also a mess. Anyway, he was not going to get involved in these messes. He would hand over the people tomorrow and then get out of it. As for the fight between the top leaders of the Huanquan Tower, it had nothing to do with him. By the way, I have arranged your next hiding place for you. No one knows about this place except me. You can go there without worry. Anyway, zooming was quite good to him. Although it was a bit like borrowing a knife to kill someone when he was asked to take on the task of the Fusion Bandit Waifu, it was also a task that he took on his own initiative. Thank you for your trouble. After a while, Zooming sent Su Fan's new identity and the information about his hiding place for the next 20 years. Su Fan was quite satisfied with the new identity and hiding place arranged by Zooming. This guy had figured out his preferences and specially arranged a very peaceful place for him. Su Fan put away the Jade Talisman of Huanquan Tower and breathed a sigh of relief. The next step is to complete the task of Huanquan Tower and then go directly to the new hiding place. To be honest, Su Fan regretted taking on this task. He originally thought it was just a matter of convenience, but now it seems that this task is still quite troublesome. This time, escorting those playboys away from the Broken Blade Mountains will definitely involve a fierce battle. Fortunately, Su Fan is strong and has full confidence in the future fierce battle. Moreover, he was hiding in the dark, wandering around the periphery of the battlefield, clearly grasping the situation, and could deliver a fatal blow at any time. At this time, the Jade Talisman on Su Fan's waist vibrated slightly again. He couldn't help but sigh. Why is my business so busy now? I'm almost an employee of the sales department of his unit in my previous life. Su Fan took off the Jade Talisman of Ruai Pavilion from his waist, and then input a trace of spiritual energy to activate the light curtain. Fellow Taoist, have you seen the escort? The other clients who accepted the task said that they didn't see you. I haven't contacted them yet. I've been guarding the periphery as a hidden man. Others are not important. As long as you are here, I feel relieved. Now several groups of people from the Jukwa Cave have their eyes on them. I estimate that there will be a fierce battle when they leave the Broken Blade Canyon. The escort is a little short of manpower. Fellow Taoist, don't worry. Ruai Pavilion has issued tasks to all clients in the Burial Demon Mountain Range. In the next 2 days, several old monsters in the Refining Void Realm and more than a dozen cultivators in the Transformation Spirit Realm will arrive at the Broken Blade Canyon one after another. Although the Ruai Pavilion usually does not show its strength should not be underestimated when it really gets serious. Well, then I'm relieved. By the way, when are you going to trade with the man from Wu Yidao? I can help you arrange it. I'll hand that man over to you, and let Ruai Pavilion trade with him. Su Fan also kept a watchful eye. Although Huanquan Tower had already negotiated with Wu Yidao, he knew in his heart that with the style of Wu Yidao, this matter would definitely not be let go. So he should not contact the people from Wu Yidao. Who knows if these guys will set a killing trap for him. It's good this way. The guys from Wu Yidao have a very bad reputation. Although Huanquan Tower will protect you, you have to be more careful in the future. Su Fan chatted with Qin Yu for a few more words, and then put away the Jade Talisman of Ruai Pavilion. That night was calm, and those playboys did not make any more troubles. They stayed in the hotel room without leaving the house. Su Fan didn't sleep all night. His consciousness was always on that person's breath, occasionally paying attention to the spies outside the hotel. He came out of the guest room and found a restaurant on the street outside. Just after he sat down and hadn't waited to eat, he received a message from Zooming. Several deacons from the Law Enforcement Hall of Huanquan Tower had already rushed to the Jukwa Cave and asked him to go over and hand over Song Haodong to them immediately. Su Fan came out of the restaurant and came to a luxurious courtyard, according to the address left by Zooming. He walked over and knocked on the door a few times, and saw 2 Yuanying Realm cultivators open the door. The other one looked at him and asked, "Are you Zigu?" Seeing Su Fan nod, he said, "Give me the Identity J Talisman." After hearing what the other party said, Su Fan couldn't help but frown. But he didn't take it too seriously. After all, law enforcement agencies everywhere behaved like this. He had been to the Law Enforcement Hall of the Immortal Sect before, and his disciples of the Law Enforcement Hall had such a bad face every day. However, Su Fan still felt a hint of hostility from the other party. In fact, he knew what was going on, but he didn't want to get involved. Su Fan took out a J Talisman from his ring and handed it to the other party. The monk from the Law Enforcement Hall of Huanquan Tower took his Identity J Talisman and verified it. then returned the jade talisman to him. "Come in with me." Su Fan followed the two people to a room in the yard, and the monk walked in. After a while, he led Su Fan into the room again. Chapter 865. He doesn't want to stay in this place anymore. Su Fan walked into the abode and saw more than 10 people gathered in the room. When they saw him coming in, they all cast their eyes on him. He could clearly feel hostility, indifference, curiosity and other emotions from the eyes of these people. In particular, there were 3 monks with strong auras sitting at the top. One of them looked at him with deep hostility. The only people who knew Su Fan's identity in the entire Huangquan Tower were Zhu Ming and a limited number of senior officials. Today, everyone in the room didn't know that the person standing in front of them was the notorious Big Devil. However, he sensed that the big man sitting in the middle of the top had a hint of amusement in his eyes when he looked at him. Su Fan walked over and paid homage to the 3 high-level old monsters sitting at the top. "Zigu, I pay my respects to all the immortals." In fact, he could sense that the aura of the old monster sitting in the middle was obviously higher than that of the 2 next to him. It is estimated that this person should be a big man in the refining void realm, who deliberately suppressed his realm in order to enter the Broken Blade Canyon. But what reassured him was that the boss seemed to have a good attitude towards him, which also made Su Fan feel relieved. But before the boss in the middle could speak, the man next to him spoke. "Is Song Haodong in your hands?" Seeing Su Fan nod, he scolded again. "Then why didn't you bring him with you?" Hearing this old bitch say this, Su Fan frowned immediately. But he didn't want to get involved in the fight between the top leaders of Huangquan Tower, so he decided to endure this time. Su Fan let out a long breath, then waved his hand lightly, and a person suddenly appeared on the ground. It was Song Haodong, the person in charge of the intelligence system of Huangquan Tower and Broken Blade Canyon, but he was already in a coma. "Third uncle," a monk from the law enforcement hall shouted loudly and rushed to Song Haodong's side. When he checked Song Haodong's injuries, his face suddenly became extremely ugly, and then he turned his head and looked at Su Fan with a vicious face. "Why did you destroy my uncle's cultivation?" No matter how good-tempered Su Fan was, he couldn't suppress his anger at this moment. "Damn, these people really think that Huangquan Tower is owned by your family." Su Fan smiled calmly, and then replied in a neither humble nor arrogant manner. Song Haodong colluded with the Fushan bandits and was in cahoots with the bandit leaders Du Kang and Wei Fu. If it weren't for the fact that he was still a member of our Huangquan Tower, you would have seen a corpse. "You are looking for death?" The other party was squeezed by Su Fan and was immediately furious. He saw that Su Fan and he were at the same level and had the cultivation level of the nascent soul realm, so he raised his hand to attack with Taoism. But before he could pinch his fingers and chant the spell, he felt a black screen in front of his eyes, and there was a boom in his mind, and then he knew nothing. Bold, seeing that the other party was suppressed by Su Fan as soon as they met, several monks from the law enforcement hall stood up in the room and shouted loudly almost at the same time. Su Fan looked at the people in the room coldly and sighed in his heart. No wonder the Huangquan Tower is getting worse year by year. If the organization is full of such people, it will be finished sooner or later. He doesn't want to stay in this place anymore. So Su Fan doesn't want to be polite to these bastards anymore. Except for the old monster in the refining void realm who suppressed his realm and sat in the middle of the upper seat, he really doesn't care about the others. Even the old monster in the refining void realm, Su Fan is not afraid of him. In fact, in his eyes, the refining void realm who suppressed his realm is just that, and he has killed them before. At most, he will use the explosion blood-burning secret method again. At this moment, the atmosphere in the room is extremely weird. Except for the big boss and the transformation realm who just scolded Su Fan, and several monks from the law enforcement hall who stood up, they are full of hostility towards him. The other people in the Jingsh, including the other 2 big bosses sitting at the top, all look like they are watching a show. Su Fan also understood that these monks who are hostile to him should be related to Song Haodong. They came here today to protect Song Haodong. Originally, Su Fan didn't want to get involved in the mess inside the Huangquan Tower, but he couldn't stand these idiots who didn't know how to count. The old idiot sitting at the top glanced at the big man in the refining void realm next to him. Reporting to the palace master, Zigu took the initiative to privately punish his fellow disciples and destroyed Haodong's cultivation without any evidence. I suggest that he be brought back to the law enforcement hall for strict investigation. The big man in the refining void realm sitting at the top listened, smiled slightly and didn't say anything, but looked at Su Fan. Su Fan took a deep breath. He didn't want to waste time with them anymore. I heard that the Huangquan Tower has been declining year by year before. I didn't believe it, but today I believe it. At this point, he smiled and pointed at those people. Our Huangquan Tower has fallen to this point today, all thanks to you bunch of worms and rats. For the sake of your family's private interests, you have regarded Broken Blade Canyon as your own money bag. In the long run, Huangquan Tower will sooner or later be taken over by you. How dare you? Shut up, you are talking nonsense. Before Su Fan finished speaking, the people in the room shouted loudly and interrupted Su Fan. If the Lord of the Law Enforcement Hall was not still there, they would have wanted to take Su Fan down long ago. The people watching the excitement in the room were all shocked at this time. What Su Fan said was no longer surprising in the Huangquan Tower. The reason why Song Haodong was able to manage the intelligence system in the Broken Blade Canyon for many years was because he was a relative of a senior member of the organization. He had long regarded the Broken Blade Canyon as his family's money bag, and I don't know how much benefit he had gained for his family over the years. This is an open secret in the entire Huangquan Tower, but no one would touch this bad luck because it involves a whole chain of interests. I didn't expect that this guy would expose this matter in front of so many people today. The people in the room who were watching the fun looked at Su Fan with a trace of sympathy, pity and gloating. This kid actually exposed this matter in public, so he is dead. The Broken Blade Canyon alone involves the interests of many people from all aspects. It can be said that whoever touches it will die. Su Fan glanced at the people in the room with a calm face, and then bowed to the master sitting at the top. Zigu will withdraw from the Huangquan Tower today, please agree. At this point, Su Fan looked at the old bitch at the top again. But before I withdraw from the Huangquan Tower, please allow me to clean up the door and kill these scums who are harming the organization. After Su Fan finished speaking, his eyes condensed, and a terrifying and boundless murderous aura exploded, instantly spreading in the room. Chapter 866, The ice is 3 feet thick, not formed in a day. Boom, an unprecedented majestic momentum swept around Su Fan. In an instant, he seemed to have turned into the eye of an endless tsunami storm, bursting out a powerful momentum like a mountain and rolling around. Su Fan just stood there casually, but he gave people a feeling of being as majestic as the ocean. The floor tiles under his feet were shattered by this powerful force, and his long hair was flying like a waterfall. Everyone in the room was also stunned by the scene in front of them. At this time, Su Fan was like a strange beast from the ancient wilderness, making them feel a terrible pressure that was invincible in the world. Except for the three big guys sitting at the top, the rest of the people inexplicably felt like a mortal looking directly at the abyss of the tsunami, and the endless waves roaring angrily. They only felt an unprecedented palpitation suddenly descending on their hearts, as if a heavy mountain was pressing down on their shoulders, and the huge pressure almost suffocated him. At this time, Su Fan was ready for a big battle. He was about to send a thought to the woman upper realm boss, preparing to ask him to forcibly raise his realm to the god transformation realm. But before he could send the thought, an accident happened. Cough. At this time, the hall master of the law enforcement hall, who was sitting at the top, coughed slightly. The strong murderous aura that burst out from Su Fan's body and the terrifying momentum that spread in the house disappeared instantly. This also made everyone relieved, and they were very scared. The feeling they just gave them was like a certain awakened abyss monster, with a huge shadow spreading in the void, bringing people an unprecedented sense of oppression. Su Fan frowned immediately, staring at the hall master sitting opposite him. He never thought that the other party just coughed lightly, and the terrifying momentum he created was dissipated without a trace. At this time, the hall master opposite smiled slightly, and then asked a question. Zigu, your real name should be Su Fan, right? Hearing the other party's question, everyone in the room was shocked and stunned, and they all looked at Su Fan. For some reason, they suddenly felt an inexplicable fear in their hearts. This kid couldn't really be Su Fan. If it was really that big devil, then today would be miserable. Although there were the Lord of the Hall and two deacons of the Law Enforcement Hall in the room, they were not enough in front of the big devil. Legend has it that the big devil once killed several evil cultivators in the refining void realm in one battle and sacrificed thousands of cultivators in the transformation realm. Especially those cultivators who just scolded Su Fan, their bodies began to tremble and their steps slowly retreated. Su Fan stared at the Lord of the Hall opposite him until he found that there was no hostility in the other party's eyes, and then he nodded gently. Anyway, his identity could not be hidden for long. This time he made 2 consecutive moves in the Broken Blade Canyon, and he would definitely not be able to hide the speculation of those who were interested. And although the other party suppressed his realm by force, he was also a genuine master of the refining void realm, and of course he could sense the demon in his body. So Su Fan simply stopped hiding and simply nodded and admitted it. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. At this time, the cultivator of the transformation realm sitting at the top suddenly stood up and shouted loudly. As a relative of Song Heodong, he knew very well that if the boy in front of him was really Su Fan, what kind of ending would the family face? If he offended such a murderous demon, let alone him, even if the head of the family came, or even the ancestor of the family came in person, he would still not be able to get away with it. And how could the high-level officials of Huangquan Tower let this demon withdraw from the organization? In order to keep this demon, the high-level officials of Huangquan Tower would even sacrifice the entire Song family. But at this time, no one cared about his shouting. The cultivators of the law enforcement hall of Huangquan Tower in the room all began to slowly retreat, looking as if they were facing a great enemy. Song Heodong's relatives were so frightened that they hid behind the hall master, trembling and afraid to move. Su Fan took a deep breath, and then said lightly, I beg the hall master to allow me to clean up the mess. After hearing Su Fan's words, the hall master laughed. You have just joined the Huangquan Tower, and you may not be clear about the organization's rules. All members are not allowed to use private punishment without authorization, but I can assure you that we in the Huangquan Tower will definitely give you an explanation. The hall master said this and added another sentence. However, you have destroyed Song Heodong's cultivation, which is a special case. The law enforcement hall will not pursue it. After he finished speaking, he glanced at the relative of Song Heodong next to him and instantly launched a divine thought. The other party did not expect the hall master to take action at all. In a hurry, he did not react at all. He only felt that his eyes went black and he fell to the ground and fainted. The hall master gave orders to the monks around him to take down several people from the Song family. Song Tai, as a steward of the law enforcement hall of the Huangquan Tower, you are suspected of sheltering family members. This hall will take action to arrest you, and the decision will be made by the master of the building. After the master of the building finished speaking, he looked at Su Fan with a smile and said, Are you satisfied with the treatment of this hall? The other party's series of actions were completed in a flash, and it only took a dozen breaths. Su Fan was dumbfounded. He never thought that this smiling hall master would turn against him. But since he had done this, what else could he say? Su Fan bowed respectfully to the hall master, and then said, I will obey the hall master's decree. After he finished speaking, he thought for a while and said, I beg the hall master to agree to my withdrawal from the Huangquan Tower. Zigu, you want to withdraw from the Huangquan Tower, but that is not the responsibility of our law enforcement hall. This matter must be decided by the master of the building. What a joke. How could those old guys in the Huangquan Tower let you withdraw from the organization? The hall master couldn't help but sigh inwardly. The ice is 3 feet thick, and it didn't freeze overnight. The mess inside the Huangquan Tower has long been an open secret in the organization. It's just that these things are intertwined, and the people involved are spread throughout every link of the entire organization. And many interest groups have been formed. It can be said that a single move affects the entire body. Although some high-level officials of the Huangquan Tower have already seen the problems within the organization, they have never made up their minds to rectify it. This time it can be said that the Song family is unlucky, and they actually provoked the monster Su Fan. The hall master sneered secretly. In the near future, there will definitely be a bloody storm in the organization, and it may take a long time for the turmoil to subside. There was a game today, and Lao Bu came back late, so the update was a little late, please understand. Chapter 867 How many people did he kill? Su Fan sighed secretly. Once you get on board an underground killer organization like this, it's not so easy to get off. And he still owes the organization 10,000 good deeds. Even if he wants to quit, he has to pay off the good deeds first. In fact, it doesn't matter to Su Fan whether he quits Huangquan Tower or not. In any case, he should complete the task of Ruai Pavilion first, and then find a quiet place to stay comfortably for a few years. As for quitting Huangquan Tower, let's talk about it later. Thinking of this, Su Fan bowed to the hall master sitting opposite. Song Heodong has been brought here, I'll take my leave. After hearing his words, the hall master waved his hand and said, Don't worry, this time we Huangquan Tower will definitely give you an explanation. Go. Su Fan bowed again and turned to leave the house. It was not until Su Fan's figure completely disappeared outside the door that the monks of the Huangquan Tower Law Enforcement Hall in the house breathed a sigh of relief. Facing such a notorious demon, their pressure was not ordinary. "Palace Master, is he really the big devil? I was scared to death just now. This guy is too murderous. How many people has he killed? If this big devil joins the organization, our Huangquan building business will explode in the future." After listening to the discussion of the people below, the palace master sighed secretly. This time, the building owner asked him to come to Broken Blade Canyon to deter Song Tai and others, and the purpose was not to make the Song family too embarrassed. Who would have thought that he would meet Su Fan, this monster, here? Song Tai was also looking for death. In the past, he relied on his ancestor, who was a senior executive of Huangquan Building and was used to being arrogant and domineering. For the sake of the family's private interests, they extended their hands to various departments within the organization, and many people infiltrated the law enforcement hall he presided over. Sometimes they didn't even give him face as the palace master. This time they finally kicked the iron plate and provoked this big devil. So the palace master of the law enforcement hall of Huangquan Building suppressed Song Tai and all the people of the Song family in front of Su Fan without thinking. Because he knew that in order to win over Su Fan, the top leaders of Huangquan Building would definitely sacrifice the Song family and give Su Fan an explanation. Moreover, the top leaders of Huangquan Building would even use this incident as an opportunity to thoroughly rectify the various ills in the organization and remove these tumors. "Okay, everyone, pack up, we should go." Su Fan left the yard and walked towards the hotel, pinching a finger gesture with his right hand in his robe sleeve. He performed the secret method of the demon sex blood path and found that the playboy was still in the hotel, so he was relieved. Su Fan returned to the door of the hotel, and just as he was about to step in, he found several beautiful female cultivators walking out from inside. He quickly stepped aside and waited for them to pass before stepping onto the stairs. Before entering the hotel, he turned his head and glanced at the backs of several female cultivators, and couldn't help shaking his head. There are many beautiful female cultivators in Broken Blade Canyon, but most of them sell seafood here. There were female cultivators from super sex and high-ranking families, but they all came with their fellow disciples or family elders. And they would change their appearance, fearing to cause unnecessary trouble in such an illegal place. Few of them showed up like these female cultivators. But they could do whatever they wanted, and it had nothing to do with Su Fan. He returned to the guest room and sat cross-legged on the floor couch. Su Fan's eyes condensed, and he once again used the secret method of the demon sex blood path to confirm that the aura of the rich and powerful man was indeed still in the guest room. Now he had nothing to do, and he didn't know when the rich and powerful man would leave, so he could only wait patiently. Fortunately, there were several cultivators in the God Transformation realm who had accepted the task of Ruai Pavilion. With a few of them guarding the target person of the task, he saved a lot of trouble. Su Fan took out a jade slip from his ring and placed it on his forehead. This was the Netherworld Heavenly Magic Appearance Visualization Soul Refining Technique that he exchanged from the Huangquan Tower, which was copied into this jade slip. Although he didn't dare to take the risk of practicing now, he could still study and figure it out first. Su Fan just looked at it for a while, and a jade talisman on his waist vibrated slightly. He picked it up and found that it was a message from Qin Yu. He input a trace of spiritual power and stimulated a transparent light curtain. "Devours, is there any problem with the target? It's okay. That kid has been in the hotel room for almost a day." After Su Fan sent a message, it took a long time for Qin Yu to reply. "I have to tell you that the target person is a female cultivator. Maybe she has used a secret method to change her appearance and aura. You have an idea? What the hell?" Seeing Qin Yu's reply, Su Fan suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart. I don't know why, but his intuition told him that something was wrong. Su Fan quickly stood up from the ground, pushed the door and walked out of the guest room, and then walked towards the guest room where the target person was. The rich playboy booked a luxurious suite in the hotel, which was in a separate courtyard. Su Fan came to the luxurious courtyard and released all his consciousness, but his consciousness was blocked by the formation outside the courtyard. He activated the magic blood secret method again, and immediately found something wrong. Although the secret method sensed the other party's breath, the other party's blood was obviously a little weak and unstable, as if it had been peeled off. Su Fan sighed, and now he was 80% sure. That dude played a trick with him and should have secretly left this courtyard. Think of the 3 female cultivators he met when he just returned to the hotel. He was a little confused at the time. In a place like Broken Blade Canyon, how dare 3 beautiful girls show off in Nine Bends Cave? It was not until Su Fan learned from Qin Yu that the target person was a female cultivator that he realized something was wrong. This girl is really capable. Su Fan thought for a moment, then took off the jade talisman of Ruai Pavilion from his waist and sent a message to Qin Yu. Although the target person's aura is still in the guest room, I suspect she may have secretly left. What? Are you sure? I am 80% sure. You asked the other people who have accepted the task to find a way to enter the guest room to confirm. Okay, I will notify them immediately. Su Fan put away the jade talisman of Ruai Pavilion and walked out of the hotel quickly. I came back late today, and updated a little late. There's still one chapter after 12 o'clock. Chapter 868. Are they sick? Although the target left a trace of his own breath in the hotel room and used a secret method to cover up his breath. Fortunately, he met several girls who secretly escaped from the hotel at the door of the hotel. At that time, Su Fan felt a little strange that several beautiful girls dared to show up in a place like Jupa Cave, so he looked at them a few more times. Because the 2 sides were very close, he also smelled some of the girls' breath. Although Su Fan had not used the scent smelling technique for a long time, he was very sensitive to some smells. Although it was just a quick glance, he still remembered their breath. Su Fan left the hotel and wandered around the streets of Jupa Cave. He walked almost all the streets, but did not smell the breath of several girls. Just when he was about to give up, his nose suddenly smelled a trace of breath. Su Fan stopped and looked around calmly, looking at the shops on the surrounding streets. Finally, his eyes stopped on the plaque of a high-end tea house. This high-end luxury tea house is called Mingxiang Garden. Just by looking at the storefront and plaque, you can tell that it is not a place that ordinary cultivators can afford. Su Fan walked into Mingxiang Garden without thinking. As expected, as soon as he entered the tea house, the smell in his nose became much stronger. Yes, this is it. Su Fan followed the smell to the 2nd floor and entered a tea house. He ordered some spiritual tea and exquisite snacks, and sat there to drink leisurely. The 2nd floor of this tea house is full of luxurious tea houses, and an isolation formation is arranged, which is very private. Those girls are in the tea house next to him. Su Fan tried to eavesdrop on the movements next door, but because of the isolation formation arranged outside the tea house, he couldn't hear the sound inside the tea house at all. Now he must confirm the identity of the target person as soon as possible. As long as the girl is really in the tea house, he will be relieved. Su Fan has no other way. He can't destroy the isolation formation outside the tea house. He thought about it and decided to ask for help from the woman upper world boss to see if he could help him hear the noise inside the tea house. Senior, can you do me a favor? Then Su Fan told him about this matter. Unexpectedly, the woman upper world boss actually agreed. The corpse of a cultivator in the transformation realm? This old bitch is too dark. Although he knew that the other party was taking advantage of the situation, he didn't care about that and agreed without thinking. Put your hand on the wall and concentrate your consciousness. Su Fan put his right hand on the wall of the tea house and closed his eyes to concentrate all his consciousness. Buzz! With a dull buzzing sound, Su Fan's body suddenly appeared with dense blood-colored witch patterns. Then, his mind boomed as if it exploded. Su Fan felt his head buzzing, as if it was about to explode. It should be the woman upper world boss who cast a spell to amplify his hearing. This feeling is really unbearable, but at this moment some voices also appeared in my mind. Ziwen, your method is still the best. We finally got rid of those followers. It's a rare occasion for us to sneak out. How can we let them ruin our sister's fun? Where are we going next? We have to hurry. Although we got rid of those followers, our family is almost here, no matter where we go. We can't stay in the Nine Bend Cave anymore. Let's just leave the Broken Blade Canyon. If we leave the Broken Blade Canyon, we won't have the chance to meet that big devil, Alice. I thought that after coming to the Broken Blade Canyon, I would have a chance to meet that big devil, but we've been playing here for so many days and we haven't even seen his shadow. I heard from my family that the guy is cruel and brutal, and has killed people like crazy. Why do you want to see him so much? What if he catches us and kills us? She can't wait to be caught by that big devil, and then she. Haha. Following a burst of laughter, the next few female hooligans began to say all kinds of vicious words that were simply unbearable to hear. Su Fan took his hand away from the wall, and the blood-colored witch patterns all over his body disappeared. He felt a black screen in front of his eyes, and almost fell to the ground. After a long time, he came to his senses. Su Fan came to the side of the table, sat down cross-legged, and then took out a jade bottle from the ring, poured out a pill to restore the soul and put it into his mouth. After a while, Su Fan slowly opened his eyes, and his soul finally recovered a little. He glanced at the tea house next door and couldn't help frowning. The big devil these girls just talked about, couldn't they be talking about him? Are they sick? They secretly ran out of the house and came to the lawless place of Broken Blade Canyon just to take a look at this big devil. Looking at the appearance of the girls, they don't look like the rebellious Flower Arm girls in their previous lives. In fact, Su Fan didn't know that despite his fierce reputation in the world of cultivation, he was already a big devil that everyone was afraid of. But there are also many female cultivators who have not experienced anything, and they still like big devils like him. Just like some female readers in the previous life, they like those cool villains in novels. I don't know what they think. Anyway, Su Fan finally found the target person of the mission. If these girls fooled him, those who accepted the mission of Ruai Pavilion would lose face. Since he found this girl, Su Fan was not in a hurry. He sat cross-legged there and tasted the spiritual tea comfortably. At this time, the jade talisman of Ruai Pavilion on his waist vibrated slightly. Su Fan took off the jade talisman from his waist, input a trace of spiritual energy to activate the transparent light curtain, and saw Qin Yu sent a message. Devours, just now several customers of our Ruai Pavilion broke into the guest room by force. Those girls are indeed not here, of course they are not here. Several girls are discussing how to secretly leave Broken Blade Canyon. Well, I know, they are in the Minxiangian tea house. I'm keeping an eye on them here. In that case, I'm relieved. I'll send them there right away. Let them come, but don't mention me. Let them go directly to the second floor. They are in the Kinglingson tea house. Now that the girl has been found, let those joined in realm cultivators keep an eye on her, and he will continue to hide behind the scenes to help find and fill in the gaps. Chapter 869. This kid is not a human being at all. Su Fan was sitting cross-legged in the tea house and had just drunk a cup of spiritual tea when he sensed several auras in the tea house. They arrived so quickly. He thought it was the several divine transformation cultivators who had arrived, so he put down his teacup and stood up from the ground. No. Su Fan's eyes condensed and he released all his spiritual senses. He found that there were 7 or 8 cultivators on the second floor, and except for the 2 leading cultivators who were old monsters in the divine transformation realm, the rest were nascent soul realm cultivators. It's bad. His intuition told him that these people were coming for the target of the mission. As expected, a group of people came to the Kinglingson tea house next door, and the leading cultivator in the divine transformation realm took out a formation talisman and scanned it. The formation arranged outside the Kinglingson tea house next door dissipated instantly. Are all the bandits in the Broken Blade Canyon so rampant? And this Minxiangian tea house is obviously in cahoots with this gang of bandits. Bang! With a loud noise, the door of the tea house next door was kicked open. What are you doing? At this time, a female cultivator in the tea house stood up suddenly, pointing at the people who rushed in and shouted loudly. Who is Luo Ziwen? I am. What do you want? Su Fan next door covered his face immediately after hearing this. This girl was used to being arrogant at home and didn't realize the seriousness of the problem at all. People have pointed out your name, and it is clear that they are coming for you. Why are you still arrogant at this time? Thinking of this, Su Fan couldn't help but sigh. Now he couldn't help but take action even if he wanted to. But before he could react, the cultivator in the god transformation realm next door had a condensed look in his eyes, and his eyes shot out 2 condensed divine thoughts. Fuck. Su Fan never thought that this old bitch would actually take action. Puff, puff. The heads of the 2 female cultivators beside the female cultivator named Luo Ziwen flew up into the sky, and turned into 2 headless corpses falling to the ground. Ching Yi, Bingley, the girl screamed loudly, and then the whole person became sluggish. Watching the 2 sisters die in front of her eyes, she couldn't accept it for a while, and didn't believe it was true at all. The cultivator in the transformation realm raised his hand and gently tapped the girl, and immediately locked the meridians in her body, then grabbed her and walked out. This man looked like an old bandit with many years of experience. It only took them a few breaths from rushing into the tea house to killing people to kidnapping people. Su Fan was stunned for a moment, and they had already kidnapped the girl and walked out of the tea house. he thought, and sent a thought to the big boss of the woman upper realm. Senior, help me to improve my realm to the transformation realm. As soon as he finished speaking, there was a boom, and a blood-colored light column fell from the sky, and his realm instantly improved to the transformation realm. The gang of bandits were startled by the buzzing sound behind them and stopped. Bang! As soon as they turned around, they saw a man smashing the tea house next door and rushing over. Before the several Uniting realm bandits behind them could react, the figure had already rushed over with a roar. Bang! Bang! 2 Uniting realm bandits were knocked flying and fell heavily. Their bones were shattered and they were obviously dead. Sufan's speed was not affected at all, and he hit a Shenhua realm cultivator hard. Bang! The Shenhua realm bandit was caught off guard in a hurry and was hit by Sufan in his arms, and was also knocked flying. The Shenhua realm bandit who was walking in front reacted and quickly lifted the girl in front of him. Damn! This old bitch is so damn insidious. Sufan's feet flashed with lightning, and he disappeared from the spot. His figure appeared behind the opponent. But at this time, the bandit cultivator in the spiritualization realm had bought time for himself. He pinched his fingers and instantly condensed several black smokes, which turned into several small snakes with fangs bared and rushed to Sufan. Bang! Sufan punched these black snakes and blew them up, turning them into black smoke and dissipating. The opponent didn't expect him to be so fierce and break the decay black flame poison fire evil that he had cultivated for many years with his bare hands. Although he already knew that Sufan was a physical cultivator, he didn't expect this kid's body to be so abnormal. The decay black flame poison fire evil he cultivated was something that even the old monsters in the half-step refining void realm dared not take lightly. Who would have thought that he was actually blown up by this kid's punch? How could he know that after Sufan's body had experienced the baptism of the netherworld yin fire, it was almost immune to various yin spells? While the other party was stunned, he fell into passive position again. At this moment, Sufan had already approached, and he did not cast any fancy spells, but just bumped into him unreasonably. The cultivator in the god transformation realm finally panicked, and he quickly focused his eyes. With a bang, a thick black magic smoke appeared all over his body, and a black shield was condensed in an instant to block in front of him. Sufan slammed into the black shield, and the magic shield condensed by decay black flame poison fire evil exploded like paper. Bang! After smashing the black magic shield in front of the opponent, Sufan slammed into the opponent's arms, knocking him flying. How could Sufan miss this opportunity? He stomped his right foot on the ground and rushed up immediately. Stone Apex, Turbulent Tiger Collapse, Dragon Elephant Tread. With only 3 heavy blows, the opponent's body was twisted and deformed, and the whole body was shattered and almost torn to pieces. Nowadays, ordinary cultivators of the god transformation realm will die miserably if Sufan gets close to them. The cultivator of the god transformation realm, who was just knocked away by him, struggled to get up from the ground and sacrificed his own life treasure. But when the other party saw the miserable state of his companion, he turned around and ran without thinking. He knew his companion's strength too well. The decay black flame poison fire evil that he had cultivated for many years was his killer. Who knew that in front of this guy, he was like paper and was easily beaten to pieces? This kid is not a human at all. Even the bodies of those foreign demons are not so perverted, so there is no point in fighting. But before he could use the escape technique to escape from here, he saw a black shadow whistling and smashing towards him. He quickly sacrificed his own life treasure and slashed at the black shadow. Boom! With a loud bang that shook the earth, the opponent's life treasure was instantly smashed away. The collision of the 2 magic weapons produced a terrifying explosion, and a visible shock wave swept in all directions. How could this Minxiangang tea house withstand the destruction of such a terrifying explosion aftermath? It instantly turned into a pile of ruins. Puff! The demon subduing sky-splitting mountain hammer thrown by Sufan hit the opponent's body fiercely, and instantly smashed the monk in the god transformation realm into a pool of meat paste. There is another chapter, which may be released later. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 870. Why did I accept this mission in the first place? Sufan's demon-subduing sky-splitting mountain hammer was an 8th-level immortal weapon. The terrifying aftermath caused the Minxiangang tea house to collapse. The sharp and boundless terrifying airflow generated by the explosion turned everything into dust. The monks and the tea house also suffered. The high-level monks were fine. They all activated their life-saving trump cards and luckily escaped from the collapsed tea house. The low-level monks were miserable. They turned into flesh and blood all over the sky, and scattered in the ruins of the tea house with the broken walls. Su Fan also took this opportunity to carry his sister and follow the crowd to escape from the Minxiangian tea house. At this moment, figures were whistling from all directions of the Jiuque cave. But Su Fan had already led his sister into the crowd on the street, and then turned into an alley without looking back. At this moment, the monks on the street of Jiuque cave also ran over, and in a short while, they surrounded the collapsed tea house. Su Fan glanced at the girl, who had not yet recovered from the shock just now. This was the first time she had experienced such a bloody scene since she was a child. Two best friends who grew up together died in front of her. She couldn't accept it for a while, so the girl's face was still dazed until now. Pa! Su Fan snapped his fingers in front of her, and she woke up from her daze. Ah! The girl's first reaction was to scream, but Su Fan immediately held her mouth. Shut up! Stop howling! Luo Ziwen was yelled at by Su Fan, and looked at the person in front of her with horror, tears flowing down like they were free. It was not until this moment that she realized what had just happened. Especially when she thought of the bloody scene when the two sisters died tragically, she felt as if her heart was being torn apart by someone, and the grief that penetrated her bones made her almost suffocate. Su Fan glanced at the street outside, then took off the jade talisman of Ruai Pavilion from his waist. He was about to send a message to Qin Yu, but Luo Ziwen pushed his hand away when he was not paying attention. You are the one sent by my family to protect me, right? Go and kill those people immediately. Su Fan was stunned for a moment after hearing what the girl said. I have already killed those people. Su Fan picked up the jade talisman and was about to send a message, but Luo Ziwen grabbed his arm. Those people know my name. They are just hired bandits, and there must be someone behind them. Although the girl suffered a heavy blow, she became calm at this time, which made Su Fan look at her with some respect. My mission is to take you out of the Broken Blade Canyon. I don't care about anything else. You name a price. Su Fan ignored her after hearing that. At this time, he didn't have time to care about anything else. He picked up the jade talisman and sent a message to Qin Yu. Someone just kidnapped her in the tea house. I have rescued her. Why haven't the others come yet? You should find a safe place to hide immediately. Those customers were trapped in the hotel because they destroyed the formation of the hotel guest rooms. They can't get out for the time being. What the hell? You don't need to guess that the hotel must be involved in this matter. Su Fan realized that it was not good. He had to leave the Nine-Bend Cave immediately. If he delayed any longer, he would be trapped here. The Nine-Bend Cave is a very wasteful place. It is said that it is a huge cave dug out of the cliff of the Broken Blade Canyon. If you want to leave here, there is only one way to leave the Nine-Bend Cave except taking the teleportation array. At this time, Su Fan dared not take the teleportation array. Once the teleportation array was activated and destroyed by someone, he would be thrown to where he was by the space storm. For now, he can only go out through the only passage of the Nine-Bend Cave. But this passage is very secretive and is still in the hands of the force that controls the Nine-Bend Cave. Su Fan couldn't help but sigh, and felt more and more that this mission was a loss. Qin Yu, the gang of bandits knew his name, and they found the tea house owner directly, killed her two companions, and then kidnapped her. Su Fan sent this message, and it took a long time for Qin Yu to reply. It seems that the situation is serious. I have reported this matter to the top of the organization. This is a task issued by one of our gold medal customers. Now we can only rely on you, fellow Taoist. Please ensure her safety. This is fucking. Su Fan couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. The gold medal customer of Ruai Pavilion is at least a veteran in the refining void realm. If things go wrong, this girl may be the descendant of a big boss in the fusion realm. Su Fan took a deep breath and tried to calm himself down. Damn, if you really push me to the limit, I will dig this Nine-Bend's cave. In fact, he is not afraid of those bandits in Broken Blade Canyon. This is really not Su Fan bragging. At least in Broken Blade Canyon, he can kill several people in and out. What he is worried about now is the people who hired those bandits. If it is an ordinary force, who dares to touch the descendants of the masters of the refining void realm and the combination realm? Now he is involved in this mess for no reason. It may be troublesome to get himself out of this matter in the future. He turned his head and looked at the girl next to him, and saw that she was looking at him straight, with a hint of determination in her eyes. I want to avenge my two sisters. You name a price. This silly girl, you can't even protect yourself now, and you still want to avenge others. The girl may have grown up under the care of others since she was a child. She has never experienced any crisis before, and she has not realized the seriousness of the problem until now. Now, let alone helping you to avenge, even I may not be able to protect myself. Although her safety can be guaranteed in the Nine Curves cave, once she leaves the Broken Blade Canyon, he may face the old monster of the refining void realm. Is your ancestor in the combination realm? Seeing the girl nodded, Su Fan regretted it so much that he wanted to hit his head against his head and die. Why did I accept this mission in the first place? Fellow Taoist, can you take her out of the Broken Blade Canyon as soon as possible? You're so stupid, come on. Going out at this time would be courting death. Who knows who is hiding outside the Broken Blade Canyon? When will those high-level clients who accept your Ruai Pavilion mission arrive at a Broken Blade Canyon? We don't have many clients in the Burial Monster Mountain Range, and the earliest they can arrive is tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. After reading the message sent by Qin Yu, Su Fan couldn't help but smile bitterly. This is the bad thing about the Ruai Pavilion, the threshold is too high, and their clients are generally high-end. There are really few scoundrels like those in the Broken Blade Canyon who are qualified to become clients of the Ruai Pavilion. Well, then I'd better not go out. At least I can keep her in the Nine-Curved Cave. If I leave the Broken Blade Canyon now, I may not encounter any danger. After seeing Su Fan's message, Qin Yu immediately understood what he meant. Then you can take her to find a place to hide in the Nine-Bend Cave. Taoist friend, I beg you to protect her safety before our people arrive. What the hell? Su Fan took a deep breath. This mission was a big loss. But now that things have come to this, he couldn't say anything. He couldn't give up the mission at this time. Qin Yu, do you have a place to stay in the Nine-Bend Cave? Chapter 871. He is most willing to make friends with the local Tyrans. Su Fan received the address from Qin Yu and ended their contact. He turned his head and glanced at the girl, saying, "You'd better change your appearance." Luo Zuan nodded, then took out a fairy talisman from the ring and slapped it on her body. With a flash of spiritual light, her appearance instantly changed into a handsome boy. From now on, you have to listen to me. Seeing the girl nodded, Su Fan led the girl from the alley to the street outside. At this moment, the street of Jingqua Cave was still very chaotic. Many people had gathered at the Minxiangian tea house. And there were many cultivators running over there. Anyway, it was chaotic everywhere. Su Fan took the girl all the way to the outside of an inconspicuous shop. He chatted with the shop owner in code for a few words, and was taken to a room in the backyard by the other party. Under this room is a secret room, which is arranged with a set of high-level isolation formations to cover the breadth of cultivators. Of course, if a high-level cultivator carefully investigates, it will still be unstoppable. The area of the secret room is not big, only about 10 square meters in size, and it is empty inside. There is nothing except a disc and 2 cushions. Su Fan sat cross-legged on the cushion, took off the Jade Talisman of Ruai Pavilion from his waist, and then sent a message to Qin Yu. I have taken her to hide. Your people had better hurry up. If those people want to find us, they can still find us. Daoiao, our people will be able to rush to the Broken Blade Canyon tomorrow. Please Daoiao, you must protect our safety. It seems that Ruai Pavilion attaches great importance to this golden customer. Qin Yu has said this several times. The task I took at the beginning was just to escort her out of the Broken Blade Canyon. Now the degree of danger of the task is different, and this commission is not enough. Su Fan did not hesitate to state his conditions directly. Business is business, and it is still about interests in the final analysis. Now the nature of the task has changed. If the commission price is not increased by dozens or hundreds of times this time, it will not live up to his illustrious reputation. I am Su Fan, the commission for asking him to do something. PFFT. How could it be that the commission is too low? Don't worry, fellow Taoist, the commission is nothing. I guarantee that you will be satisfied. By the way, our clients have already escaped from the hotel. I'm afraid they have been targeted. Let them find a place to wait and listen to my instructions. Su Fan chatted with Qin Yu for a few more words, then put away the Jade Talisman, and then glanced at Luo Zuan who was sitting opposite. The girl was looking straight at him, her eyes were frighteningly calm. I want to avenge my 2 sisters. After hearing what the girl said, Su Fan frowned immediately. It seems that she was stimulated. She watched her two best girlfriends die in front of her, and she actually had a little obsession in her heart. I am only responsible for protecting your safety. As for revenge, you should find your family. This time I ran away from the sect secretly. If my family sees that I am fine, they will not avenge them. At this point, the girl's tears flowed again. I have been the pride of my elders since I was a child. Although my brothers and sisters in the same clan spoiled me and gave in to me, I didn't have a real friend until I entered the sect and met them. We grew up together in the sect. They don't know my identity, but they talk to me about everything. They are my best sisters. Luo Ziwen didn't care whether Su Fan was willing to listen or not, and kept talking. She cried while talking, not caring about Su Fan's feelings at all. She didn't care whether Su Fan listened or not. In fact, she just wanted to pour out the pain in her heart. Su Fan could only frown and listen there, and he felt so disgusted in his heart. Why are you telling me this? Why did they die? It's because of your willfulness. Your little thing is nothing. The countless small cultivators at the bottom of the cultivation world, which one is not full of blood and tears? Not to mention those casual cultivators at the bottom who fight for a few spirit stones, even the ordinary disciples in the sect, which one is not running around for cultivation resources. You were born a Roman. A pill you take casually is enough to make others suffer for several years. Suffering such a little grievance is like the sky falling. What Su Fan despises most is the children of the rich and powerful families in the Xianzong. They are arrogant and love to show off. They are arrogant, incompetent and playful. They are silent when they are beaten. Of course, Su Fan will not say these words, that would be a blow to others. But the girl kept talking, and he couldn't interrupt her, so he had to take out the red clay stove and tea set to make a pot of spiritual tea for himself. Drink this. Luo Ziwen on the opposite side saw Su Fan was going to make tea, so he took out an ancient wooden box from the ring and put it on the table. This is what I stole from my ancestor. Su Fan didn't want to drink it at first, but after hearing what the girl said, he immediately became excited. The spiritual tea from the big boss of the fusion realm must be tasted no matter what. He took the wooden box on the table and opened it, and saw that it was full of fresh green tea buds. An intoxicating fragrance lingered in the secret room. If you don't taste this tea, it would be an unforgivable sin. At this time, Luo Ziwen took out the simple and round incense burner from the ring, placed it on the table, and then inserted a stick of incense and lit it. The green smoke lingered, curling like fog, and a wisp of fragrance lingered in the room. The whole secret room was suddenly filled with elegant fragrance. Su Fan just smelled it and felt his mind clear. He consumed a lot of spiritual consciousness in the Minxiangyang tea house to eavesdrop on the conversations of several girls next door, but now he has recovered a lot of it all at once. Damn, this stick of incense is worth a lot of money. Although Su Fan looked down on the children of the immortal sect like Luo Ziwen, he couldn't stand his wealth. He was most willing to make friends with the rich. Su Fan brewed a pot of spiritual tea, poured a cup for Luo Ziwen opposite, and then took a sip of the teacup. Oh my god. After drinking this tea, he felt that what he drank before was just some crap. How is this tea? After hearing what the girl said, Su Fan could only bite the bullet and reply. Oh, it's okay, if you like it, I'll give it to you. No way. If you insist on giving it to me, I won't be polite. Although he thought so in his heart, Su Fan still had to save face and be polite. No, this tea is good, you can keep it for yourself. The girl took out another box of spiritual tea from the ring, put it on the table, and pushed it in front of Su Fan together with a box just now. I have several boxes here, you can keep it. What the hell? Suddenly, Su Fan felt like a poor bastard. All the spiritual teas in his hands, added together, were probably not as valuable as the box of spiritual tea on the table. Chapter 872. This girl is also very worrying. Maybe it was because he received 2 boxes of spiritual tea from Luo Ziwen. Now he liked the girl opposite him much more than before. Even listening to her nagging, he was not so irritated. After all, it was a shortcoming to take advantage of her. Isn't it just listening to her nagging? It's not a big deal. Not to mention chatting, now he can even sleep with her. So the girl didn't talk to her on her own. Su Fan would occasionally take the initiative to chat with her. Why did you sneak out of the sect? After hearing Su Fan's words, the girl was immediately angry. My family chose a Taoist partner for me that I don't like. It turned out that the girl ran away from marriage. As a child of a wealthy family in the immortal sect, while enjoying the family benefits, of course, you have to pay something. This girl is really willful. Why don't you like him? Is he ugly, has a bad character, or none of them? He's extremely talented, honest, and handsome. We have known each other since childhood and he's very good to me. This is fucking. Girl, are you okay? Such a good match, the one that many women dream of marrying, but you are so dismissive. Su Fan really couldn't understand this girl's train of thought. He's so good, why don't you like him? Luo Ziwen picked up the teacup and took a sip, then sighed. I don't know, I just don't feel anything. After hearing her words, Su Fan covered his face. It's over, this girl is still a love-brained person, there's really no cure for it. Have you read too many novels and stories? Hearing Su Fan say this, the girl's eyes lit up and she immediately became energetic. Do you like to read stories too? What the hell? I guessed it right? Female novels are killing people. Sister, how old are you? You are already a cultivator in the nascent soul realm, okay? How can you be addicted to these things? This girl is really troublesome. I haven't read the storybooks. The girl took out a dozen jade slips from her ring and placed them on the table, then introduced them to Su Fan like a treasure. These are the best storybooks in recent years. I tell you, I won't introduce them to ordinary people. Then, the girl started to introduce the contents of various storybooks to him as if she had been injected with chicken blood. Su Fan never thought that this world of cultivation, like his previous life, really has all kinds of Mary Sue romance novels. Similar to CEO, domineering, strong woman, agent, dark, chasing wife to the crematorium, crushing bones and scattering ashes, running with a ball, etc. All kinds of them are indispensable. Su Fan was numb. And from what the girl said, these romance novels are still quite popular among a majority of female cultivators. In fact, it is understandable that the lifespan of cultivators in this world is extremely long. Especially for female cultivators, if they don't find some spiritual food, they will suffocate to death. Su Fan is now regretting his intestines. Why didn't he write a few Mary Sue novels in the first place? He is good at this. Although he had never read this kind of female-oriented novel in his previous life, he had never eaten fat pork, but he had seen fat pigs run. Speaking of the novels in this world, Luo Ziwen's taste is heavier. The girl actually likes dark novels. What she likes most is all kinds of cool villains and big demons. The darker the character, the more she likes it. Su Fan finally understood why the girls wanted to meet him so much at that time. Because his current character is a complete big demon. And after people's constant rumors, his image has been blackened to no end. No wonder, Su Fan has always been confused about one thing. That is, why did several beautiful female cultivators of the immortal sect run to a chaotic place like Broken Blade Canyon? Now I have found the root of the problem. This is also the reason why the girl ran away from marriage. With her current mentality, how could she like the person introduced to her by her family? We secretly ran to Wu Ai Ocean, and heard that the Burial Demon Mountains were pretty good, so we came to the Broken Blade Canyon. Su Fan heard for the first time that someone said that the Burial Demon Mountains were a pretty good place. This place is full of hooligans, a lawless place where a group of casual cultivators, bandits and evil cultivators gather. Maybe in the eyes of the girl, only here can you find the kind of big villains and big demons in the storybooks. This girl is really worrying. It's very chaotic here, and there are no good people. Don't come to such a place in the future. After hearing Su Fan's words, the girl nodded disappointedly. I thought the cultivators here were all the kind of cultivators written in the storybooks, but I didn't know until I came here that there was no decent one. You really dare to think that you actually believe in the things in the storybooks. Anyway, there is no one else. This is good, she shouldn't be so stupid in the future. If the girl is not allowed to come once, she will never be willing in this life. Su Fan chatted with the girl for a while, and felt that the girl was a good person except that she was a little bit stupid. At least she didn't have those bad habits of the daughter of a wealthy family, which could be seen from her attitude towards her two fellow disciples. Her two fellow disciples should have ordinary backgrounds, but the girl had sincere feelings for them. Anyway, this trip is worthwhile for me. Su Fan was stunned and asked, why? Because Su Fan came to the Buried Monster Mountain Range. We came here specifically to find him, but unfortunately we didn't see him. After hearing what the girl said, Su Fan was completely confused. No, who told you that Su Fan was in the Buried Monster Mountain Range? Of course I know. After Luo Ziwen finished speaking, he leaned his head forward. I'll tell you another secret, don't tell anyone. You told me all the fucking things, can it still be called a secret? And he was also quite surprised. He didn't expect his identity to be exposed so quickly. It should be that when he was in Blackwind Village, he killed the evil cultivator in the spiritual transformation realm, which attracted the attention of those who were interested. Thinking of this, Su Fan nodded quickly. Seeing Su Fan nod, Luo Ziwen whispered, according to the information I got, Su Fan has joined the Yellow Spring Tower. Seeing the mysterious look on the girl's face, Su Fan couldn't help but smile bitterly. It seems that he can't stay in the Burial Demon Mountain range any longer. He will leave immediately after doing this job. That guy is very cruel and violent. He is a big devil who kills people like crazy. You should. Before he could finish, he was interrupted by the girl. Don't listen to those people's nonsense. Why did he kill people? He was forced to do it, unexpectedly. The girl knew his experience very well, and could even be said to know it like the back of her hand. Next, Luo Ziwen started to talk again as if she had been injected with chicken blood. I don't know where she heard it from, and she even knew Su Fan's experience when he was a casual cultivator. Seeing Luo Ziwen talking about her experience with great excitement, Su Fan felt very awkward. He never expected that he would meet one of his little fans. You don't know, when we heard that Su Fan was here, we were also excited, but at this point, the excited girl started to cry like crazy. I must avenge them. They are my best sisters. They are never like others. They treat me well because of my family background. This silly girl, they may be like this at the beginning, but they may not be like this later. Chapter 873 Sister, please protect me. Can you help me avenge them? I can pay you a commission. Su Fan couldn't help but frown, but he still patiently told the girl about the current situation. It was not until this time that Luo Ziwen realized the seriousness of the problem. Although the girl seemed to be quite stupid, she was actually not stupid, but she had not experienced anything. Then can you do it? As long as you don't leave the Broken Blade Canyon, I can keep you safe. Hearing Su Fan say this, the girl looked unconvinced. Do you think you are Su Fan? Su Fan was speechless. He didn't know how to answer. He couldn't introduce himself. It's okay. Someone will come to pick us up tomorrow. Your family will be here soon. My home is quite far from here. They will have to come in a few days. At this point, she took out 2 fairy talismans from the ring and placed them on the table. Take this, fuck. Seeing the 2 8th level fairy talismans on the table, Su Fan couldn't help but burst out a swear word. No. You have this thing in your hand, why didn't you use it in the tea house? I was scared at the time. Seeing 2 sisters die in front of me, my mind was confused. Su Fan took a deep breath. These are 2 8th level immortal talismans. He has been struggling for so long, but he didn't get a few, and she gave him 2 without blinking an eye. Too damn rich. And he felt that the girl must have more than these 2. After all, she is the descendant of the ancestor of the fusion realm, and she is also a girl who is very favored by the ancestor. It is estimated that she must have a lot of life-saving trump cards. He didn't hesitate and put away the 2 8th level immortal talismans. Okay, it's better to leave this thing with me than to let it rot in your hands. I have never fought with anyone. When I was sparring with my fellow disciples before, they always let me. Didn't your ancestor give you any life-saving trump cards? The girl turned up her collar and took out a jade talisman hanging inside. This is what the ancestor gave me. He said it couldn't withstand a single attack from a cultivator in the fusion realm. After hearing what the girl said, Su Fan's mind buzzed. What the hell? So even if an old monster in the refining realm attacks them with all his strength, the girl is still alive and well, but he has been shattered into pieces. After a long while, Su Fan finally came to his senses. This is good, at least when you are in danger, you don't have to be distracted by her. By the way, there is also this. After the girl finished speaking, she turned up the collar of her robe, took out a jade pendant hanging on her chest, and shook it in front of Su Fan as if showing off. The ancestor said that this thing can launch a single attack equivalent to his full strength. What the hell? Big sister, you should protect me. Your ancestor has armed you to the teeth, so what are you afraid of? Why are you dragging it into the water? But this girl is also stupid enough. She is not afraid that I will be tempted by the money. To be honest, at that moment just now, Su Fan was really a little tempted. If this girl is buried somewhere, the spoils obtained from her alone will be enough for Su Fan to enjoy himself for a long time. However, it only took a moment for him to give up the idea. Su Fan was just thinking about it. He was not that kind of person and could not do such a thing. Don't tell anyone about these cards of yours in the future. The girl rolled her eyes at him and laughed. I know, you think I'm stupid, but only you. I wouldn't tell anyone else, no. Did I have the face of an honest man? Su Fan was speechless. You are not stupid, you are stupid. Do you know who is targeting you this time? Who else could it be? It must be the evil old demon who has a blood feud with our family. My second uncle once killed one of his descendants. What is the cultivation level of that old demon? That old ancestor of the Deadwood is also in the fusion realm, but I heard from the old ancestor that he was seriously injured a few years ago, causing him to lose a lot of strength. It will take hundreds of years to recover. Su Fan felt a chill on his back after hearing this. The injured old demon in the fusion realm is also in the fusion realm. He can blow him to pieces with just a breath. No wonder, who dares to touch the descendants of the powerful in the fusion realm? Otherwise, those evil old demons, even the super sects dare not provoke them easily. Don't look at them as loners, but once you provoke them, there will be no end, and you won't even be able to sleep well. That's not right. How did that old ancestor of the Deadwood know that the girl was in the Broken Blade Canyon? But he immediately understood. Either there was a traitor in Luo Zhuan's family, or the news was leaked by Ruai Pavilion. Damn, this mission is troublesome. If it were a high-ranking boss of the Immortal Sect and the Demon Sect, he would not easily argue with him, but the evil old demon didn't care so much. Even if he was carrying a demon seed, they would still kill him. Anyway, no matter what, he couldn't leave the Broken Blade Canyon these days. It was the safest place now. He even suspected that the old ancestor of the Deadwood had come to the Barad Demon Mountains. Thinking of this, Su Fan took off the Jade Talisman of Ruai Pavilion from his waist and sent a message to Qin Yu. Do you have any information about the old ancestor of the Deadwood? Wait a minute, I'll check it for you. After a while, Qin Yu replied with a message. I just checked his information. It is said that he has appeared in Wu Ocean recently. Seeing the message sent by Qin Yu, Su Fan couldn't help but darken his eyes. This should be correct. This old demon is probably waiting outside the Broken Blade Mountains. Next, Su Fan sent Qin Yu the details of the feud between Luo Zhuan's family and the old ancestor of the Deadwood. After Su Fan sent a message, Qin Yu replied after a long time. I have reported this matter to the top management of our Ruai Pavilion. I hope the organization can mobilize the gold medal customers of Wu Ocean to come to support as soon as possible. Seeing Qin Yu's reply, Su Fan couldn't help but smile bitterly. Okay, I'll wait for your news. In fact, he knew in his heart that even if Ruai Pavilion issued this task in Wu Ocean, none of the big brothers in the fusion realm of Wu Ocean would be willing to get involved in this matter. That was an evil old demon in the fusion realm, and even super sects and high-level families dared not provoke him easily. Not only that, if old ancestor of the Deadwood appeared in the Broken Blade Mountains, the monks of Ruai Pavilion who came to support would have to retreat. Now Su Fan didn't count on anyone else, and could only wait for the ancestor of his sister's family to come in person. Fortunately, they hid in the Broken Blade Canyon, and no matter how powerful the ancestor was, he couldn't get in. Su Fan put away the Jade Talisman of Ruai Pavilion and glanced at the girl opposite. I just asked someone, and the old ancestor of the dead tree has appeared in Wu Ocean recently. Luo Zhuan's face changed immediately. This time she was really scared. Chapter 874 Why be so polite to the rich? Luo Zhuan had always looked indifferent before, but when she heard that the old ancestor of Deadwood appeared in Wu Ocean, she turned pale with fear. If she fell into the hands of that evil old demon, it would be worse than death. Seeing that the girl was really scared, Su Fan asked with a smile. Have you not contacted your family yet? Luo Zhuan hurriedly took out a communication array from her ring and found that it had accumulated hundreds of messages. She didn't care to read these messages and hurriedly sent a message to the ancestor. Ancestor, help me, that big demon is coming. Dead girl, I let you run around everywhere, now you know you are scared, you find a place to hide quickly. I'm going to you, I'm hiding in the Broken Blade Canyon, and the old demon is outside. Girl, don't be afraid. A few of my old friends will be able to rush to the Barad Demon Mountains tomorrow. Hearing what the ancestor said, Luo Zhuan was relieved. He put away the communication array and told Su Fan the news. Then let's wait patiently. What if those bandits in Nine Bend Cave find us? As long as we are in Broken Blade Canyon, I can keep you safe. After hearing Su Fan's words, The girl was obviously a little worried, and took out 2 8th level immortal talismans from her ring and placed them in front of him. Take these 2 immortal talismans. If they are not enough, I have more here. Su Fan glanced at the girl, and then put the 2 8th level immortal talismans on the table into the ring. Don't waste this thing. Why be polite to the rich? In fact, he was worried that such a big place as Nine Bend Cave might not be able to withstand an 8th level immortal talisman. He didn't plan to use these 8th level immortal talismans at all. If they were used to deal with these riffraff in Broken Blade Canyon, it would be a bit of a waste. If they were used on the old demon in the fusion realm, it would be no different from tickling him. It's better to keep these 4 8th level immortal talismans for himself. Anyway, I have been assigned this unfortunate task, so it is not too much to collect a little deposit in advance. At this moment, Su Fan was extremely grateful. He didn't want to pay attention to this girl, but he didn't expect that he could only chat with her because of her. Only then did he understand the whole story from her words. If he didn't know the grudge between her family and the old ancestor of the Deadwood, and rashly led her away from the Broken Blade Canyon, they would be in great trouble. Although they are trapped in the Broken Blade Canyon, at least they can temporarily avoid the pursuit of the old ancestor of the Deadwood. Let's hide here first. Anyway, the bandits of the Nine Curves Cave will find this place sooner or later. Su Fan just hopes that they will find it as late as possible. As long as the old ancestor of the girl's family arrives, he will have nothing to do. Thinking of this, Su Fan raised his head and glanced at the girl opposite, and found that she had fallen asleep on the table. This girl is really brave, she can still fall asleep at this time. Su Fan shook his head, then took out a jade slip from his ring and placed it on his forehead. Time passed unknowingly, until it was light outside. Luo Zuan woke up from his sleep with a start. You had a nightmare? After hearing Su Fan's words, Luo Zuan wiped his face and nodded. Just now I dreamed that I was caught by that evil old demon. It's okay, the day is about to dawn. Your ancestor and those old friends should be here soon. This is a matter between the big guys in the fusion realm, and it is not something that he, a small Yuan cultivator, can get involved in. The girl was relieved after hearing this. As long as the ancestor's friends arrived, she would be safe. Suddenly, Su Fan turned his head sharply, his eyes condensed, and he completely let go of his consciousness. Senior, raise my realm to the half-step refining realm? Su Fan sent a message to the big guy in the upper realm of the Witch Gate without thinking. Boom, there was a dull roar, and a thick blood-colored light column suddenly fell from the sky, completely covering his figure. Su Fan's body suddenly appeared with dense blood-colored witch patterns, and his realm rose to the half-step transformation realm in a very short time. You stay here, don't go out, Su Fan explained to the girl, and his figure disappeared from the spot in an instant. At this moment, hundreds of people had gathered outside the store, led by more than a dozen transformation realm monks, all from several gangs in the Nine Bend Cave. They all received a sky-high reward issued by an underground organization, and in order to find Luo Zuan, they had been tossing in the Nine Bend Cave for a whole night. It was not until dawn that they received reliable intelligence, and then surrounded the store. They had just surrounded the store, and before they could go in, they heard a loud bang. Su Fan had already smashed through the ceiling of the secret room, and then soared into the sky from the roof of the store above. As soon as Su Fan thought of it, a black magic sword appeared in his hand. He swung the sword in his hand without thinking. Whirlwind slash, with Su Fan as the center, a destructive tornado suddenly rose. The violent rotation of the storm formed of Odek's center of the airflow, and instantly formed a raging eye of the storm. At this moment, the air in the entire nine-curved cave seemed to be drained. The violent hurricane formed a mighty force like destroying the world, and rolled up a terrifying storm in the sky. A visible airflow swept in all directions. It swept around like a raging sea, swallowing up all the surrounding streets and houses. At this time, dozens of figures suddenly flew out from all directions of the nine-curved cave, and they all sacrificed their life treasures, which barely blocked the terrifying aftermath of this sword. If it weren't for this group of old monsters in the God Transformation realm to take action in time, the entire nine-curved cave would have been razed to the ground by Su Fan's sword. Not good, the power of the law, everyone be careful, the leading bandit cultivator in the God Transformation realm shouted, but it was too late. Hundreds of bandit cultivators surrounding the shop were instantly swept into this overwhelming torrent of annihilation like falling leaves, and flew into the sky one after another. In this terrifying hurricane, a faint ray of sword light could be seen whistling past. Hundreds of bandit cultivators who were swept into the sky were instantly torn to pieces by the sword light with the cold murderous aura, turning into a bloody rain that scattered across the sky. In just a blink of an eye. Only a few old monsters in the god transformation realm were left of the hundreds of bandit cultivators who had originally surrounded the shop. Even from this sword with a strong power of the law, the few old monsters in the god transformation realm who survived by chance were all wounded and only had half of their lives left. Shwit, shwit, then, sword lights flashed, and the few cultivators who had survived by chance were all killed. The most ferocious gangs in the Nine-Bend Cave were thus eliminated from the Demon Burial Mountain Range. Chapter 875 This kid is too reckless. After Su Fan was blessed by the big boss of the upper realm of the Wu sect, he was forced to raise his realm to the half-step refining realm. Even among the disciples of the Wu sect, this situation is unique to Scorpion's father. Because Su Fan is so special. At the beginning, he used the divine tower left by the witch god Ag in the lower realm to sacrifice the blood and ki of a large number of cultivators. The witch god Ag took the opportunity to transfer all the divine patterns on her divine tower in the lower realm to Su Fan. This also made Su Fan's body covered with dense witch divine patterns, and he became the human flesh divine tower of the witch god Ag in the lower realm. This also gave him the conditions to use his flesh as a witch divine tower and communicate with the big boss of the upper realm of the Wu sect. Like other witch cultivators, if they want to achieve Su Fan's level, they must have an independent witch divine tower, and then they need a large amount of blood sacrifice materials. Throughout the world of cultivation, which Wu Dao cultivator can do what he did, and can easily take out a large number of corpses of Yuanying realm and Huishan realm cultivators. Not to mention that Su Fan has several corpses of old monsters in Liangsu realm in his hands. Although he lost contact with Wu Shen Ag, he contacted the current Wuman upper realm boss through the Wu Dao wooden sculpture. This Wu Dao upper realm boss is much more honest than Wu Shen Ag. When making a deal with this Wu Dao upper realm boss, at least he is honest. As long as you have enough blood sacrifice materials, the other party will help him achieve what he wants. At this moment, the smoke and dust that filled the Nine-Bends Cave has dissipated. The ground with a radius of hundreds of feet under Su Fan's feet has turned into ruin, and many cultivators have lost their lives in a daze. He made such a big fuss, and all the cultivators in the Nine-Bends Cave were stunned. Those were the most ferocious gangs in the Demon Mountain Range, but they were all slaughtered by this guy with one sword. Hundreds of nascent soul cultivators, plus more than a dozen spiritual transformation monsters, were gone in the blink of an eye. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't believe it even if they were beaten to death. Who is this guy? He's too fierce. Even if that big devil Su Fan came, he would be just like this. Luo Ziwen, who was hiding in the underground secret room of the store, also witnessed the whole process of the battle just now. At that time, Su Fan said that as long as he was in the Broken Blade Canyon, he could protect her safety, but the girl didn't believe it. Now it seems that this guy is not bragging. At this time, dozens of spiritual transformation monsters in the Nine-Bend Cave were suspended in the air, looking at Su Fan with sinister eyes. The leader, a half-step refining monster, said coldly, "Dao, it's too much." After hearing what the other party said, Su Fan sneered. "What were you doing when I was besieged by hundreds of people just now? Are you standing up now to stand up for them?" After hearing his words, the whole Jukwa cave was in an uproar. This kid is too arrogant. Facing so many old monsters in the god transformation realm, he dared to speak arrogantly. No matter how good you are at fighting, can you withstand the siege of dozens of old monsters in the god transformation realm in the Jukwa cave? And there are also 3 big guys in the half-step refining void realm. These people besieged you, and you fought back as an act of self-defense. We can let it go, but how do you account for the street houses and the monks and the shops you destroyed? After hearing the other party's words, the many monks who were watching were all stunned. Why are these big guys in the Jukwa cave so cowardly? None of the monks who can hang out here are stupid. The meaning of this half-step refining void realm big guy's words is clearly to give this kid a way out. As long as this guy takes a step back and pays some compensation, this matter will be over. This also disappointed many monks who were watching. I thought there would be a fierce battle next, but who knew it would end up like this? Let's just disperse, there's no fighting. But just when they were about to disperse, Su Fan spoke. "You dare to ask me for compensation? You indulged a few gangs to besiege me. If you don't give me an explanation for what happened today, I will tear down your Nine-Bends Cave, The monks who were originally preparing to disperse were in an uproar after hearing Su Fan's words. This kid is too shameless. This is just ungrateful. I've given you a way out, but you won't give up. Do you have to fight a fierce battle to stop? How could Su Fan take them seriously? This bunch of rascals are not worthy. Boy, don't refuse a toast. What a young man. You dare to say such arrogant words in my 9-bend cave. Don't you want to live? You are looking for death? Let's all attack together and kill this boy. Do you really think we dare not kill you? Do you think my 9-bend cave is empty? All these old monsters in the god transformation realm floating in the air were angered by Su Fan, and they all cursed at him. They cursed happily, but no one made a move first. The bandit cultivators and evil cultivators were the type who would rather die than die with their friends. Although they were all making a lot of noise, they were actually waiting for others to make a move first to test. Because the sword that Su Fan just used was too scary. The old monsters in the god transformation realm of the 9-bend cave and the 3 big guys in the half-step refining void realm all knew clearly in their hearts, and no one dared to say that they could do what Su Fan did. And their intuition told them that the boy just now did not use his full strength. This bunch of cowards. Su Fan cursed inwardly, and he didn't want to waste time with these guys. Let me say one more thing. If you don't give me an explanation today, I will destroy your 9-bend cave. When Su Fan said this, he had an idea and a huge hammer in his hand. Damn it, since you don't want to be polite, I will just kill everyone in the 9-bend cave. Anyway, there are only bandits and evil cultivators here, and Su Fan has no psychological burden to kill them. Seeing his arrogance, the old monsters in the 9-bend cave were also completely enraged. There was no way, in front of so many cultivators, they had to fight. Otherwise, these old monsters in the 9-bend cave will lose their reputation in the future, and they will no longer be able to deter those ambitious cultivators. Just when they wanted to make a move, everyone received a thought in their minds almost at the same time. Don't make a move, he might be Su Fan. After receiving this message, dozens of big men in the 9-bend cave were terrified. The giant hammer in his hand is an 8th-level immortal weapon. As another thought appeared in everyone's mind, dozens of old monsters in the god transformation realm cast their eyes on the giant hammer in Su Fan's hand. The fact that Su Fan slaughtered all the Fushun bandits and the Black Wind village was no longer a secret in the Jingu cave. Especially the 8th-level demon-subduing sky-splitting mountain hammer in his hand, which has become his iconic magic weapon. The old monsters in the god transformation realm of the Jingu cave were numbed and the hair on their bodies stood up. If this kid is really that evildoer, then there is no point in fighting. How could they dare to provoke the big devil? It's better for them to go back and take a shower and go to bed. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.